When you're ready.
604 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back home in the friendly confines of the 180 Pro studio. The Traveling Road Show continues, y'all. This morning, I have left the 180 Pro studio in order to be at the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. We're at the Hilton New Orleans at Riverside, obviously in New Orleans. You know where the Hilton's at. I mean, it's the big one on the river. We are taking a deep dive into all things insurance today. We're talking with policymakers. We're talking with lawmakers. We're talking with Tim Temple. We're talking with industry experts as well. We want to get to the bottom of where our rates are and why. Learn a little bit more about what has been going on in the world of insurance. Look, I'm seeing, positivity, to be sure. Homeowners insurance, man, I knocked my homeowners insurance down by half last year by shopping around. We've seen reductions in rates on car insurance as well. How do we continue that? How do we keep up the momentum? That's what today is all about. 81 degrees in New Orleans. Let's see, back home, what are we looking at back home right now to start off the morning? I know it's only, an hour away, but, Baton Rouge is an hour and a world away from New Orleans. We are starting you off Government Street. I've got 79 to start off the morning in Baton Rouge. So, look, we're going to have some fun this morning. I know it's insurance. It's insurance, but it's also your money, your wallet, your annual budget. It all breaks down this way. So let's get rolling. Let's get started. Let's get to top stories and trending.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Laura Kading over at Visit Baton Rouge for bringing this story to my attention yesterday afternoon. Southern University's Human Jukebox is teaming up with The Gap in a whole new branding video. It shows the band playing music while wearing denim jackets with the SU patches on the sleeves. You got the SU for Southern on the sleeves. Really, really cool video series. Really, really cool branding series. Good to see the Jukebox getting some love on a national level from The Gap, of all places.
Number 4.
East Feliciana Parish joined St. Helena, Tangipahoa, and Washington parishes under burn bans as hot, dry conditions continue in South Louisiana. They're open-ended as far as I know. Don't have an end date on when the burn ban would run out.
Number 3.
Multiple agencies responded to Scotlandville High School to arrest a student on a Baton Rouge Police Department warrant around 9 o'clock yesterday morning. Obviously, this is a high school student we're talking about, so no other details were made available.
Number 2.
The East Baton Rouge Coroner's Office did identify the remains found in the North Landfill as Jadarius Manyweathers remains. The office put out a statement saying that they made a positive identification on the remains of Jadarius Manyweathers using DNA comparison. The cause of his death, while there has been a suspect charged as murder, the cause of his death is still pending.
Number 1.
Suspect accused of opening fire at the Mall of Louisiana, killing 17-year-old Martha Odom and injuring several others, was indicted yesterday on murder charges. Court filings show a grand jury indicted Markel Lee, who's now 18 years old, on 1 count of second-degree murder, 6 counts of attempted second-degree murder, and 1 count of illegal use of weapons.
Those are your top stories. It's time to see what's trending.
What you got,
On
Breland?
Tuesday, a multi-billion-dollar trial began in California alleging Meta intentionally designed its platform to entice kids to stay on its platform. I mean, we kind of knew that, though.
Well, no, here's my thing. Kids, how about grown-ups? How about doom scrolling through Reels? How about, everybody has to comment on everything and have a take on everything under the sun? Facebook is built to be addictive. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't like what you just said. It's like, well, we kind of already knew that. Yeah, there's empirical data showing the dopamine rush that comes from the little, likes and comments. And every time you see a notification from Facebook, it's like, it's like feed a gerbil a pellet, ooh, I get pellet.
Very true. Very true. The mission to save NASA's sinking Swift Observatory was called off Wednesday, which means it will likely crash to Earth later this year.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Okay, I'm always fascinated by this, right? The So stuff crashes to Earth all the time. But I don't know if anything's ever hit anybody or anything. But
Right.
the let me see if I got this story. I read this one yesterday too. They were trying to save the telescope. That's the New York Times. Could put me behind a paywall. They were trying to save it. They came up short with trying to save it, so now they've called it off. We'll know more about projected fall and all that other good stuff. But it's expected to re-enter and burn up in the Earth's atmosphere later this year. It's not any more accurate than that right now, which I find amazing. So what happens is it's going to fall. Most of it's going to be incinerated, if not all of it.
Fragments.
Right. Yeah, you might get
fall.
little pieces that make it past the re-entry, but it gonna burn up.
Oh Lord, I'm thinking the whole thing's just going whoop.
And like land in your backyard,
Yes.
like an Amazon drone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
According to Impact Data Bank, U.S. wine sales fell below 300 million cases last year for the first time in 2 decades. Whoa.
I want more on that story because number one, they didn't interview the Haldane house, where
My house.
where wine consumption has not tapered off. That, and by the way, that's my throwing myself under the bus. That's not. I enjoy a glass of wine. I enjoy Tito's. I enjoy bourbon. I might have a problem. I wonder what the background on this story is, because when you start thinking wine, okay, yes, you've got California and Oregon and Washington and everything, and I drink reds, so, but you also have to take into account what wines come in from France, Italy, Chile, wherever else. Is this a matter of, are we now seeing the after effects of tariffs and imports? Has that taken its toll? And I'm speculating. I don't know. I'm speculating, but are we now starting to see what the results are of a policy implementation from over a year ago?
See, and I'm going a totally different angle. A couple of weeks ago on the show, we talked about how Gen Z, which I know Gen Z, a small part of the population, but they are drinking less. I'm reading online that millennials are drinking less.
Yeah.
So could that be it too?
Well, like most things in most individual economies, there is, trade-offs throughout. So it is likely an entire recipe and not just one factor.
Right. Very true.
611 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Before we take our first break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website, LandmarkBankLA.com. Been in business as a community bank since 1897, and they're showing no signs of slowing down nor changing what's worked. And what's worked is being a banker for you. Personal banking, business banking, either way, they've got you covered. And especially on the business side, y'all, especially on the business side. If you're a small business owner in a community where Landmark Bank is, visit landmarkbankla.com. Check the About Us tab. Scroll down to locations and hours. If you see a Landmark Bank in your area, you really want to be a part of this, because they'll be a part of your business as well. It's not just about, where you deposit your money. It's about who can help you grow, who can help you thrive. And that's what they do at Landmark Bank. Don't just have a bank, have a banker. Landmarkbank.la.com. And he cuts 19 and 20 on the back end.
Okay, 1920. I did a small oopsie. That was supposed to be Mathern's right there. So it's 635. Put Mathern's down.
Okay.
Unique cuts. What again?
19 and 20.
Okay.
Did you get the guest list I sent you?
Yes, I did. The Cowboys.
And this day in history is going to be 7:55.
Okay.
Whoop. I'm also going to flip-flop Ascension Chamber and 180 Pros so I can do it along with tag at the beginning of the next hour. .616 to Talk 173 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is sports time right about now. The Saints are going to be taking part in their final joint practice of the preseason against the Rams today. Los Angeles is coming off a 12-5 season from last year. Of course, they still got Matthew Stafford at the helm over there, or under center, I should say. Danny Stutzman, Saints linebacker, and shout out to Louisiana Radio Network for gathering this audio. Danny Stutzman says they're going to be a great test for this defense.
Number one offense in the Cowboys, now another really talented Rams squad. Those are great opportunities for a defense like us. We're just trying to prove it to everyone that we can really play high-level ball. And every opportunity we get, we go out there, we make the most of it. Not a lot of time to prepare. That's the best time to do it. We're going out there just playing our brand of football, no game plan, just going out there and play New Orleans Saints football.
Sticking with Stutzman, but a little bit more into the practices against Cowboys, more than 10 fights broke out during the joint practice on Tuesday. So Stutzman says those scuffles can take away from the work that they're putting in the field, but they do help bring the team together when you have a joint enemy.
There's definitely talk around the dinner table. Not laughing about it. It definitely brings the team together a little bit. Obviously, you try to want to avoid stuff like that. At the end of the day, if someone else is going after one of your guys, one of your teammates, and you have to defend them. And I think it shows the character of who we are as a team, that we support each other, we got everyone's back.
By the way, talking about the Saints and that Tuesday workout, lost Alvin Kamara for probably over a month with an MCL sprain, which is the second offensive injury we've seen so far. Jordan Tyson going to be out, of course, for 2 months with his hamstring injury. Now Alvin Kamara as well. So what was being billed as a pretty explosive offense with a whole lot of weapons for young quarterback Tyler Shuck is now looking like it's dwindling just a little bit. I'm still excited about the season. Absolutely still fired up for the whole thing, but definitely seeing a couple hits along the way that hopefully don't take too much of a toll before the Saints are, running at full speed up and going. Like we said, the next Saints game. Give me one quick second here. The next Saints preseason game, if I were able at all to talk, we're going to be coming up this weekend. They are going to be playing the Rams this weekend. That's why they're doing a little joint practice with them. That is going to be on Saturday. 3 p.m. kickoff for us. Saints are going to be at the Rams. Of course, you will hear that as you hear all the Saints games on Eagle 98.1. And don't forget, as the NFL regular season is approaching, Talk 107.3 FM going to be your home for a lot of NFL once again. We will be carrying the Monday night games every week. We'll be carrying the Thursday night games every week. Joining those broadcasts in progress, we'll pick up with them at 7 o'clock on both counts. I believe we're 7 o'clock on Monday as well. I know on Thursday it would be 7 o'clock to join the broadcast in progress, but obviously kickoff isn't until after 7, so you won't miss any of the action, just a little bit of the pregame. But yeah, the NFL is back on Talk 107.3 once again. And don't forget, when you're out and about on the weekends, all Sunday long, the New Orleans Saints are going to be on Eagle 98.1, but when the Saints aren't playing and you're just bumping around listening for some other live NFL action, 104.5, our sister station, going to be carrying NFL games all Sunday long as well. So look for that in all of their time slots. We're coming up on 620 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Going to get you to the Fox Business Report in just a quick minute. After that, we got a couple of different quick hit news items before we dive into our guest list as we broadcast live from the Hilton, New Orleans, Riverside. We're here for the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference, and I can tell you right now, we're not done on the road just yet, y'all. As soon as this show is over with, we're packing up and heading to Lake Charles for Legislator. Here's Fox Business Report. Oh, hey, Mike, you were on with us, I think the last time I did this conference.
Yeah, and also I've subbed when Haggai in a few times.
Oh,
on the
nice.
Show with him, because Haggai and I go way back, further than we care to admit.
Yeah, give me one more.
Oh, I'm not.
One more segment before we get to you.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm very quiet. You can chat whenever you get to the mood. I don't have anything until 9 o'clock.
Tim Temple.
All right, your turn. Go, Brian.
All right, heading back to the Talk 107.3 FM Traffic Center. Going to be getting you a quick lookout at what's going on. We're going to start off on the interstates, as we always do. Normally about this time, we're looking at a little bit of volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish, and sure enough, there is volume. You're going to see some brake lights out there. Not a whole lot, not enough to make you want to change your route at all. The difference this morning, though, is the delays are, well, they're a little bit heavier right at Range Avenue. They do pick up again before the Amite River Bridge, but they will you will slow down or tap the brakes again around Millerville and then all the way through Airline Highway before it picks back up and you can start moving. Flipping it around the I-10 eastbound, coming back across the bridge, and I don't see, let me hit refresh on the big screen, but I'm not seeing why, though there is better than normal volume on I-10 eastbound coming in from Ascension Parish. That's not related to an accident or anything, at least not according to the incident report. Those are your only two things to look out for in the interstates right now. 12 west by Denham, 10 east coming back across the bridge. Meanwhile, on your surface streets, there is nothing. Those things were from last night, so I'm not even going to bother mentioning them. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Morning 624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Got a couple of different quick hit news items we want to touch on before we get into our guest list. By the way, Mike Berto is going to join us in our next segment. One of which is coming to us from our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network. Started getting wind of this let's say last week was when it started getting finalized, and then yesterday learned a heck of a lot more. By the way, Bree Lynn, I know we're doing this on the fly, but if you wouldn't mind grabbing LRN cuts 13, 14, and 15, please, because it coincides with the story.
You got it.
So next Tuesday is going to be the big day, or allegedly. This is what we're hoping right now. Next Tuesday is going to be the day when we hear Governor Jeff Landry announce that Elon Musk's SpaceX is going to build a multi-billion-dollar spaceport in Vermilion Parish. The words just sound so crazy. Elon Musk in Cajun country. Spaceport, Vermilion Parish. Like, none of this computes to me. But in talking to a number of the folks who were talking to yesterday over with the Louisiana Travel Association, their annual conference, which, by the way, shout out once again to Chris Landry and Megan Rybe. Well, shout out to the entire crew over at Louisiana Travel Association. They're phenomenal. And the show that they put on, the whole conference they put on, their annual summit, has been just awesome. They're continuing today, but I moved over to the Hilton. So in talking to a number of different folks, a lot of this makes sense. Specifically when we're talking with Ben Barthelot, who's from Lafayette's Travel Bureau. This Lafayette's about 45 minutes away from where this is going to be built and going to be the nearest metro to them. So you're going to have, a bit of a commute to get there. But when you've got the growth that you've seen in Lafayette, and you couple that with advancing the workforce and, really just a state that's primed to, pardon the pun, take off, a lot about this actually does make sense. Now, you're going to hear a number of voices that are completely opposed to it because we are talking about, we're talking about Sportsman's Paradise, y'all. 25 miles worth of property in an area that is, marshland, fishing land, hunting land, Pecan Island. Like, there are going to be some loud voices against it. But if you zoom out, there's a whole lot of Louisiana. So the way I understand it is this particular property this particular area is being utilized because of not what's underneath it with terra firma, but what's above it in getting to space. I don't understand the physics of it. If I did, I wouldn't be sitting here doing radio. I would be much, much richer. So next Tuesday is what we're looking for. The Advocate says the spaceport is going to be built on 130 acres of coastal marshland. Advocate reporter Stephanie Regal spoke with Louisiana Radio Network and says the project could potentially bring thousands of jobs to the state. Cut 13, please.
From what I'm hearing, it's going to be a bigger deal in terms of capital expenditure and employment and just the overall impact than the Meta deal in Richland Parish.
So here's an interesting part of the deal, according to LRN, is that as part of this deal, a decade-long coastal damages lawsuit that was filed by Vermilion Parish and the state against ExxonMobil has been dismissed. Regal says more details will be announced Tuesday at 11 a.m. in Abbeville. Cut 14.
At the very least, SpaceX is going to have to build some kind of facility to protect its launch pads and whatever other infrastructure it puts in place.
Which is going to be a curious part of this whole thing, because we're going to like close the book on that in order to open a new book. And I'm super excited about it because if nothing else, thousands of jobs. On top of that, though, with Elon Musk, I mean, he's spent his career building electric cars and it's supposed to be good for the environment. And I'm not getting into the politics of that, but I don't see us putting things in the hand of somebody who's going to destroy what's in his wake. So we haven't heard officially from the governor's office yet. We haven't heard officially from SpaceX yet. That's important to remember. We're starting to see all the things bubbling and brewing that you see before something like this happens, up to and including knowing where the actual announcement is going to be, where the press conference is going to be, proximity-wise. It just totally makes sense. Talking about the going back to the project itself, Regal says a lot of folks in Vermilion Parish are concerned about what this will mean for their way of life. Cut 15.
There is a lot of concern in environmental circles. There is a lot of concern, I think, from the people that are in the immediate Pecan Island community.
Who's that? I mean, is I understand. I get that. I would like to put eyes on it the same way I did a couple weeks ago, going up for the LMA conference to just get the vibe of the people in Monroe and Richland Parish talking about what Meta's doing up there. It's very easy for news to report one way or another what public opinion is. It's another thing to see it up close and personal. So this is definitely one. And by the way, don't forget there's the announcement on Tuesday. And then if I'm not mistaken, there might be a follow-up announcement later on in the week about a different but connected project. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Right now, though, we got to get you to news, traffic, weather. We're going to start off with ABC before hitting our own local news, which will, of course, include more of that SpaceX thing right now. We clear?
Yep.
Okay. Trying to. I thought I brought up breakfast bars the last meeting while I was gone, and I just brought one.
Oh,
I got rejected.
that's annoying. I hate when I'm in a hotel and I run out of food.
Well,
Because then I will call and order room service, and then I'll regret it later.
like we have a complimentary breakfast from 6 till 9. I'm like, I have a radio show from 6 till 9. How much can do that? We have one of the tables down there. That one in the middle.
Yeah, they have cookies. I stole some. My wife won't let me go to conferences unless I bring her a goodie bag, when I'm on my way home. So I raid the tables before they open.
Yeah, I'm not big on the grabbing the tchotchkes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But my son, like, I'll bring him home like a little pocket flashlight or one of the hacky sack.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's all garbage to me.
Oh, me too. She delights in it. I'm like, just keep it over there.
No, I know everybody likes to get creative with their tchotchkes so they can be remembered. I'm like, give me something I can use.
Right.
Like here.
Exactly.
This is not creative. This is not breaking any, new barriers. I will use every page on this thing.
Last year, one of the booths, they had charging stations, like for your phone. Like you just plug it in the wall and the little thing that says like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still use that thing on my desk at home. It was wonderful. It's a fast charger too.
Well, yeah, we so when we were doing swag for Talk 107.3, and our program director's like, what do you want? And he's showing me all these different things. And you know what I want? I want magnetic chip clips. I want a clip that can go on the fridge or go on your chip bag of chips. And he's like, that's not creative at all. I'm like, we don't get bonus points for being cunning. I want to be like,
You want them to use it.
Right.
Yeah. Leave it top of mind. That's
Exactly.
what we're talking about. Brilliant. I just think it'd be the coolest thing in the world to be out in the marsh fishing or duck hunting and see a rocket launch
yeah.
while I'm out there. People go thousands of miles to Florida to watch the rockets take off.
Get ready for a whole new generation of Boudreaux and Thibodeau jokes.
Man, what's that big fire over there? And it's not like we don't need the money. Jesus, we're last in the nation in household income. We're way too, and nobody seems worried about it. I'm like, why are we so comfortable in the basement?
Well, I have a lot of confidence in Susan Bourgeois.
Oh, yeah.
She's ridiculously impressive.
And what does she do? I'm not familiar.
So she's our Secretary of Economic Development.
Economic.
That's why you've seen the $200 billion worth so far. Now 50 of that's Meta.
Meta, yeah. I've got several friends up in Richland who do business with us, and they are they're like, I might actually get my kids to move back here when they graduate from college. And every one of them, I said, nobody lives here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, like downtown Monroe is looking great right now because the mayor has been very intentional in pinpointing spots that he can bring back to life, and this Meta injection is going to do there won't be any more vacant buildings.
There's Blue Cross owns 3 very nice buildings downtown Monroe. We got some of them in the Vantage acquisition. and we don't use them. You know, we've got like 400 employees there, and they each have a floor almost to themselves. So they're consolidating them all into one building now because since Meta, they're getting bites on the property.
Right.
People want them. All of a sudden, that commercial space got some value.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
an excellent thing. Louisiana's economic development has always had to require some sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of targeting the sacrifice.
Right. And finally feels like we have somebody who has a good eye on the target.
Hmm.
Let's see if you're on camera. No, you're not.
You need to move over.
Scooch just a little bit.
I got to warn you, you could have got somebody a lot prettier to do this.
Well, if I was worried about that, I wouldn't be hosting.
So it's the insurance business. They have a lot of pretty people in this business.
That when I was setting up yesterday, and we're always on Facebook Live, so I don't have your mic hot yet, but mine is. Well, let's see. Are you on 3? Talk to me.
Test check.
Yeah,
1,
you're good.
2. Yeah, good.
Warm weather.
Okay.
Oh.
.636 Talk 173 FM, WBRP, morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. Going to get Mike Berto in here in just a quick second, but I do need to remind you about Matherns. I swear, every Wednesday with the Matherns app, every Wednesday I turn into Navin Johnson. You remember who Navin Johnson is? Remember the movie The Jerk? When Steve Martin, the jerk, when the new phone books, the new phone books are here. Every Wednesday when the new deals drop on the Matherns app, that's me. The new Matherns deals are here. By the way, this week, if you're curious, the newest deal added on is Fiora paper towels or tissue. It's going to be $1 off. Now, oh, Brian, it's $1 off. Big deal. Yeah, I know, but when you start scrolling through and you see that frozen waffles are 50 cents off and honey's 50 cents off and the Pop-Tarts are $1 off and the Simply Done hinged foam to-go boxes are 50 cents off. When you start to add them up, and it's so easy to just clip the deal while you're in there, and then when you get to the checkout, boom, it does all the mathing for you because they're going to scan your barcode, and not only does it take all your discounts into account, but you earn cash towards more groceries every time you shop. Whether you're downtown on 3rd Street, whether you're on Highland just west of Kenilworth, or football season's right around the corner, or football season is almost here, on Nicholson Drive, the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, directly across the street from Tiger Stadium, it's Matherns. Mike Berto's in with us. How are you, sir?
Excellent. Excellent.
Glad to have you on here. So you're with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yes.
And we're going to start with the 50,000 foot view. What's going on in the world of insurance right now?
Well, the fun thing about a conference like this is we do a lot of cross-pollination.
Yes.
You know, there's a lot of insurance that you have to deal with as a consumer, car insurance, homeowners, health insurance, life insurance, but there's so much more to this business that goes on behind the scenes,
right?
That if it's not done properly, capital will not come to your state.
Mm-hmm.
No capital, no jobs. So having all these people in one place where they can communicate and share ideas and express their opinions about what's going on turns out to be very valuable across the spectrum of insurance people.
So you get minds together, you get ideas together and people together. How does it flow? Like, because I mean, is this look? Tim Temple's, we elected him, and he's running the ship. How does it flow? Is it a top down, bottom up, all the way across the board? What are we looking at?
Well, let's say yes and.
Okay.
So what happens is they break this conference up into tracks. So if you're really a property and casualty guy and you really want to do a deep dive, you can just go to presentations and speeches and compliance seminars in your area. But what I find as I go to the conferences, and I'm speaking later today,
Okay.
is that I end up going into conferences like, I'd really like to know what the latest is on the roofing program.
Yeah.
You know, I'd really like to know what kind of background insurance is required for us to see somebody like Meta or SpaceX show up.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that get addressed in the other tracks. So it's extremely valuable for me to go across.
Talk about the roofing program for just a minute. By the way,
Yeah.
Parish Construction and Roofing is
Right
sitting right to
there.
our right
Yeah.
over there. All the green over there from Parish, which, by the way, I have a Parish roof on my house.
Nice.
But when you talk about the roofing program, you're talking about the grants for the fortified roofs.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start there, because when you see this come out, and like we're here in New Orleans right now, where you're going to have a lot more people actually get the grants than up in Baton Rouge, where we're from. So when you see something like that, how does the math do the mathing on that? How do you make the numbers work to say this amount of dollars is being put into it, but this is what everyone's going to save because a select few, and it's a select few that's growing. When I say select few, that's not being judgy. It's just you start with a number, you try to grow that number. So how does it affect all of us? It's like, okay, Joe down in Thibodaux got a roof. What does that mean to me in Baton Rouge?
Well, you know, when a property company comes and they want to provide an insurance product for the marketplace, what they're looking at is a bucket of risk, right?
Yes.
So you've got all these houses in all these places. Some of them are very vulnerable to high wind. Some of them aren't. And what they do is kind of average the risk across all the houses they want to cover and commercial property. And now what happens is, as you add fortified roofs into the bucket, the overall risk drops.
Right.
And then all of a sudden their algorithm says, I don't have to charge, you know, $100 a cubic foot for this anymore. I can charge 90 or 80 or 70. And that effect bleeds through to everyone's property insurance.
What makes them go from I don't have to charge 100, I can charge 90 to I will charge 90?
Well, that's what the insurance commissioner's job is, because he has folks in his shop who constantly monitor rates and exactly what the risk profiles are. There are several commissioners from other states here that I've been visiting with, and they look very carefully at their situations and share that information across state lines. So they have a pretty good idea. Is Alabama's rate better than ours? Is Mississippi's better? Is Texas doing better? Why?
Right.
And then they can isolate those variables and attack them. And that's really the way it's done.
So, and tell me if I'm oversimplifying this. Mike Berto from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana is our guest. Louisiana Blue. Talk about the overall, the overall scope of insurance. Sticking with the homeowners, but it probably applies to auto insurance as well. Tell me if I'm oversimplifying this. You're heading down the interstate. You need gas. You see an exit. There's 4 different gas stations. I've never understood why they're not always all at the same price. And if one drops, they all need to drop, or they're going to lose business. Like, is that the same way in the homeowners insurance world? Is like, oh, I've got 4 different gas stations over here. I need to compete with the other 3, so I'm going to lower my price as well.
Well, let's just say the pricing is not as transparent or as fluid, because homeowners insurance companies don't put their prices on billboards that you can see when you drive up and down the street.
We might want to work on that next session.
Yeah, maybe so. But whereas gas prices are literally real time. I've got an app on my phone, Gas Buddy is called.
Love Gas Buddy.
Take a look at it. It gives you real time updates, crowdsourced, about gas prices in a radius around you. You can even tell it, which stations that you want to buy from. There is no such application that I'm aware of for life insurance, health insurance, or homeowners.
Got Mike Bartow for a couple more minutes. I want to pivot over from the homeowners or the roofing program. Give me one other thing that you really have your eyes on while you're here.
Well, I've been watching very carefully on that, because I'm a health guy, right? I work for Louisiana Blue, as to what competitors are talking about when they go to visit with employers and say, what kind of coverage you're going to offer your employees next year? Because this is renewal season. This season, August, September, October, is when companies, who, by the way, provide 90% of the insurance for regular folks, come from work or because they're related to somebody who has a job. And I want to see how they're customizing their products to save employers money and ultimately to save their employees money. And so I get to network with a lot of people from other carriers, from other states, and see what kind of innovative ideas they've come up with.
How big is that? How wide is that net, or how intricate is that web? Because yeah, knocking down homeowners insurance rates feels like it's one challenge, but you have so many different variables on that front. That cannot be an easy task.
No, health insurance is mysterious and large. If anybody ever tells you they understand the healthcare business end to end,
Right.
they're probably exaggerating a little bit,
Mhm.
okay? Because I've been at it 21 years
Right.
and I still learn something new every day. But the reality is, we've got to focus on keeping Louisianians healthy and in the game.
Mhm.
Right. And so that's a daily battle for us. And doing that from a venue like this conference is just absorbing every good idea we can get our hands on to try to improve the health and the life of our Louisiana buddies.
How far can we go with that, though? Because you start talking about now, you'd have, if we're all trying to stay healthy, we're all trying to get healthier.
Yep.
Like, how far can we go to impede on someone else's lifestyle?
Well, we can offer and we can make suggestions, and we have an obligation, I believe, to communicate the benefits.
Mhm.
But we can't hit people on the head and say, you know, stop doing that.
Right.
At the end of the day, when you buy health insurance, 90%, 85 to 90% of what you're spending is buying nothing but health care for either you or somebody else.
Right.
So the less time you spend in a hospital, the fewer prescriptions you're on, the less time you spend getting expensive treatments at your doctor, the more benefits you'll see in the health insurance marketplace. That ultimately is what controls rates, not so much what we do, honestly.
We talk a lot more about homeowners and auto on the air than we do health insurance. Is health insurance moving in the right direction?
Health insurance is moving in a direction that's going to drive more cost. A lot of it, and I don't want to say it too loud, is government intervention that's well-meaning. But they don't really have the vision, the foresight to look 2 or 3 years down the road and see the impact of what they've changed.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Mhm.
I'm an economist. I'm a forecaster.
It's the law of unintended consequences.
It hits you every time.
Yeah.
And my job is to say, how hard is it going to hit so that we can plan for that.
Right. He's Mike Berto with Louisiana Blue. Greatly appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Appreciate it, man.
Happy to help.
Thank you so much. We're coming up on we're at 646, coming up on 647 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. This is going to be a fast moving show, y'all. We are guest heavy for sure. And Heidi Stiller with Senior Advisor to the Community Resilience Center, the Water Institute, is going to join us next. Right now, we're due up for a quick break. Right back after this on Talk 107.3 FM. Hey, Bree Lynn.
Hey.
There's a phone number next to this next person. Hang on one second. Thank you. That was awesome. Yeah. There's a phone number next to this person's name. So I'm gonna you're Heidi. Okay. Never mind.
Oh, okay. I see what you were trying to say. Okay,
I didn't
cool.
know if you were here with me or if we had to call you. So fantastic. Likewise, thank you. You went to Water Institute. Love that building.
Yes, that's what we were just.
Along with Kevin Line from Louisiana. WB turned into David Johnson. Remember David Johnson? Every Wednesday, Pop Tarts are out. He gets the check. Mike Berto's in with us. How sure? It's directly across the street. Back to awesome. It's the third. Mike Berto. Zero complaints on them. Mike Berto's in with us. How are you, sir? We're at 646. Thank you so much. We're coming up on. Excellent. Glad to have you on here. So you're with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So 2 or 3 years this morning. Appreciate it, man. Happy to help. Thank you so much. All right, let's see which one. Give me 1, 2.
1, 2.
There you go. 652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, broadcasting live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance annual conference. We are at the Hilton New Orleans Riverside. Like I said, this is a fast-moving show with a whole lot of guests. Heidi Stiller is a senior advisor to the Community Resilience Center at the Water Institute. From now on, I'm just saying Heidi's with the Water Institute. I'm going to shorten that whole title. Welcome aboard. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me, Brian. It's great to be here.
Glad to have you on here. The Water Institute. I think we all just love the building, and nobody really understands what goes on inside it, but it's just such a cool view. Let's talk a little bit about like what y'all actually do inside that building, what you do specifically, and what goes on.
That sounds great. Yes, I'm excited to share. So as you mentioned, I'm with the Community Resilience Center at the Water Institute. The Institute is an independent nonprofit applied research organization that really works to turn science into action. That's our thing. We bring together scientists, engineers, planners, community experts, and other partners that really can help solve the complex water and environmental challenges that Louisiana and other coastal communities all around the country are facing. And so our work is all about science-informed decision-making, and we help local leaders, state agencies, communities understand their risks and figure out what actionable strategic path forward might be. And so the simple version is that we help people use the best available science to make smarter decisions about water, land, risk, and resilience. And the Community Resilience Center, which we launched in 2023, really puts the focus on communities. And that might be supporting the United Home and Nations resilience planning, or it might be piloting innovative insurance solutions with communities along the coast. That's why I'm here at the conference. And the center's efforts really are driven by following the lead of communities. And when we talk to communities, one of the things that's front and center for them is insurance availability and affordability. So that's one of our focus areas.
Okay, well, that's an interesting crossover there to get from one side to the other. But I want to go back up to what you were talking about. You said the water challenges. What are this is going to sound like a stupid question, but I'm sure the answer is going to be a little bit more involved. What are our water challenges?
You know, when people ask me about that, I think the simplest answer is too much and too little, right?
Yes.
We are dealing with both. I think folks here in Louisiana are familiar with having both too much water during tropical storms, but also having not enough water, right? I think some parts of the state have drought right now. So the Institute is trying to help communities think about both current conditions and what's going to be coming, including with sea level rise, increases in heavy precipitation, and really getting communities ready and making sure that we're more resilient from the individual homeowner right up to the municipal and parish level.
We're talking with Heidi Stiller from the Water Institute, a little bit about what the Water Institute does, and more specifically, kind of let's get into what you're speaking about today.
Sure thing. So as I mentioned, insurance availability and affordability is one of our focus areas at the Community Resilience Center at the Institute. And we're sort of working in 3 buckets, we call them. One is to sort of leverage the good aspects of the current system. And so that might be talking about how future development and growth should be guided by risk, and insurance should inform us about how we develop in the future. And then that second bucket is to close some of the gaps in the current system. So one of the challenges we have right now is that it can be hard to get credit for flood mitigation work that you do. And so we're really trying to figure out how do we make the connections between, if you do a big restoration project, which lowers the flood risk for a community, how do you get that translated into those flood insurance premiums? And then the third bucket is let's get outside the system and try some new things. And there's a lot of good ideas out there about how to do new things in insurance, but if we don't try them out, they're just good ideas. So we're doing pilots, and that's what I was speaking about here at the conference, where we're trying to work with communities to design a community-based catastrophe insurance policy that would address short-term immediate needs that communities have and be driven by parametric. Parametric is when instead of having to prove a bunch of loss and document all your damage, you just pre-agree on a trigger. If the winds reach 120 miles an hour, for example, then the policy is triggered and you get your payout. So we're looking at, can we design parametric policies that'll support communities with immediate needs? We've been working with Franklin, Louisiana,
Mhm.
and then also in Upper Breton Sound, some of the fishing communities that are working outside the levee. How could we design some innovative insurance solutions for them?
And I'm having trouble not making the comparison to having a name storm deductible, but this would be for the whole policy.
It would be for the whole policy. Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so it's like doubling down. It's like if you have a name storm, you have your insurance to begin with, but if you have like superstorm, then you have this backup insurance.
This would be like a little extra, and it's not like your homeowner's policy, right? This is
Mhm.
different. So this would be, so for example, think of it in Breton Sound, we sort of talked about it as business interruption insurance, right? Because if you're in the fishing business or you're running a seafood market, right, and you have a storm, it might not actually be a named event, but you still have damage, right? Once the water gets to 6 feet or so. So could we have a policy that would give you just a few $1,000s, right? Enough to like restock your freezers, to pay for the electrical that got wiped out, right? So it's a different kind of policy, but that's what we heard from communities is they need something for those immediate short-term needs.
Okay, I oversimplify everything. So Aflac for disasters.
I don't know enough about Aflac to answer
all
that,
right.
but seeing the ads, I think you might be onto it.
All
Yeah.
right. She is Heidi Stiller with the Water Institute. Do we have enough time to get into nuts? Yeah, we got a minute and a half to go here. I want to talk about when putting on a pilot program. How does that start with y'all? Does it start with the community? Who gets the ball rolling there?
Yep. That's a perfect question to ask, because the other thing I really wanted to talk about is all of the partnerships that we're
Mhm.
building to work on insurance. And this is a situation where it really does take some diverse partners to figure this stuff out. So we do work directly with communities. That's critical, right? Because you don't know what they need if you don't go out and talk to them.
Right.
And then we have strong partners like the National Wildlife Federation and Louisiana Sea Grant that have been helping us have those conversations and engage. We're working with insurance players. So Guy Carpenter Marsh, Verisk, Munich Re, those folks can help us understand how they do CAP modeling, right? And how they price policies. And then we're working with the state players, the Louisiana Department of Insurance, of course, who are
Mhm.
hosting this conference. CPRA is a good partner.
Mhm.
And then we have funders too. Walton Family Foundation and the Gulf of America Alliance have been funding some of this work. But it all does come back to those communities and meeting with them, figuring out how they want to design a policy.
Mhm.
And once we
20.
figure that out, then we can go talk to insurers and figure out how we can build that solution for them.
Just scratching the surface. Heidi Stiller with the Water Institute. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning. I hate that we're out of time. This is awesome stuff. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hour 2 is coming up in just a little bit. We're not slowing down, y'all. We'll have top stories and trending, then right back into our guest list from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference.
We're out.
Right along, broadcasting live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. We are at the Hilton in New Orleans. Said this to be a fast-moving ship. Like is a senior advisor to the community. A lot of guests. Heidi Stiller, guests. Heidi Stiller is a senior. This is awesome stuff. Appreciate it. Hey.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey. Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay? I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday. Wait, so the app pays for pizza? Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5. Offers vary by user information participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
At the last minute, Remington Trump pulled back and threatened 50% tariff on about $20 billion worth of Canadian goods. The U.S. would probably have to do with probably some very major tariffs were going on Canada to related to this because I think we have to deal with the Prime Minister. The deal Prime Minister Mark Carney asked provincial premiers to return U.S. alcohol to store shelves in Canada have been pulled because of the loud tariffs.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Our drive time on I-12 is up to 31 minutes from Cuban to the 1012 split. LA 1 is 12 minutes from Adams to the I-10 on-ramp. Traveling on the I-10 side, Prairie Gulf Highland is 5 minutes, and 18 ahead of that. From Highland on up to the bridge, no major interstate accident spots for the moment into and out of that area. I'm in Romero.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at progressive.com or call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Closing on a home? Mid-City Title makes it super simple. Local closings, expert service, midcitytitle.com. Talk 107.3 Weather.
More very hot weather conditions are expected for your Thursday. Those high temperatures are going to reach all the way up to 97 degrees under a mix of sun and clouds. So we're not going to have too many of those showers
Lord.
and storms. It's down only about a 20% rain coverage, and that might even be on the high side of things. So we're all going to bake under these very hot weather conditions. Make sure you are drinking plenty of water. Another heat advisory has been issued overnight, lows in the upper 70s. I'm meteorologist Baylin Rogers with your Storm Station forecast, WPRC Channel 2.
Mama said, to run to a child. It's on the Brian.
705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in the friendly confines of the 180 Pros studio. I'm not in the 180 Pro studio. I'm in the Hilton in New Orleans, the Hilton New Orleans Riverside, actually, for the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. We've got 1 hour in the books. We've got 2 hours to go. And I mean, it's been a fun ride so far. Both Mike Berto and Heidi Stiller, fantastic segments. So Leslie Chapman Henderson and Renee Hamar. We're going to, they're going to have to raise the bar a little bit in order to keep up the momentum. Speaking of the 180 Pros studio, do need to remind you about the folks over at 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website. 180pros.com. Not your IT provider, your IT partner. What does that mean? Well, first of all, it means if you call them, they're going to be there. If you call them, they'll have same-day response time. That's awesome. That's good. You want that. They can't promise they could fix your problem the same day, but if you're calling them during business hours, they will respond to you the same day for sure. They'll have eyeballs on the problem. Number two is when it comes to maintaining your network and making sure you're up and running, they base their reputation on your reputation. They base their success on your success. And when it comes to the cybersecurity, you're on the forefront there as well. Third part of this equation for having an IT partner, and this goes out to Baton Rouge businesses specifically, they're in Baton Rouge. They're in Baton Rouge. If your entire network goes down and you can't even dial in and you have to have somebody on site, you want somebody who has to drive in from New Orleans or Lafayette or points beyond in order to help service your network. They're right there in Baton Rouge. That's part of the partnership as well. The fourth part, and this might be my favorite part, that's the collaboration. With the collaboration, it's one thing to have your network maintained. It's another thing to make sure your network fits you, your software fits you, your hardware fits you. Where do you want to be in the future? When are you going to grow, and how are you going to implement growth? All of these things factor in when you have an IT partner. Call them at 330-2200 or check them out online at 180pros.com. Time for top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Shout out to Laura Kading with Visit Baton Rouge for bringing this one to my attention yesterday. Southern's getting some national pubs, some national recognition as the Human Jukebox. Southern University's band is partnering with The Gap in a whole new video, or a whole new series of ads, I should say. It shows the band playing music while wearing denim jackets with the Southern University patches on the sleeves. From our news partners at WBRZ caught hold of a quote from The Gap. It says, "They're not your average marching band. Through dedication, precision, and hard work, Southern University's Human Jukebox, or just Juke as they call it, brings their power to some of the largest arenas." Great to see that partnership. Great to see a little awesome pub for the Human Jukebox.
Number 4.
Burn bans. Let's move over to that. East Feliciana Parish is now in the game as well. East Feliciana Parish has joined St. Helena, Tangipahoa, and Washington parishes under burn bans as hot, dry conditions continue through South Louisiana. We were talking about drought in some parts of the state a little while ago. Not necessarily a drought, but definitely we are primed to be in a burn ban status right about now in some of the surrounding capital parishes.
Number 3.
Multiple agencies responded to Scotlandville High School yesterday to arrest a student on a Baton Rouge Police Department warrant at around 9 o'clock yesterday morning. This is a high school we're talking about here, so age is a factor, and therefore no other details are available.
Number 2.
The East Baton Rouge Coroner's Office identified remains found at the North Landfill as Jadarius Manyweather's remains. The office put out a statement saying they made a positive identification on the remains based off of or using DNA comparison. The cause of his death, however, is still pending.
Number 1.
The suspect accused of opening fire at the Mall of Louisiana, killing 17-year-old Martha Odom and injuring several others, was indicted yesterday on murder charges. Court filings show a grand jury indicted 18-year-old Markel Lee on 1 count of second-degree murder, 6 counts of attempted second-degree murder, and 1 count of illegal use of weapons.
Top stories are in the books. Now, let's check in on what's trending.
On Tuesday, a multi-billion-dollar trial began in California alleging Meta intentionally designed its platform to entice kids to stay on its platform.
Kids?
Yeah.
I mean, what about grown-ups?
I know.
I mean, are we immune to that level of dopamine release? That's what it's all about, right?
I mean, I know I'm addicted because when I lay in bed at night and I can't turn my mind off, I'll just start doom scrolling on Facebook and TikTok. But to kids to be addicted.
No, I get it. I'm just saying it's the same thing but different.
Yeah.
You know,
I know.
I don't know how. Okay, there's 2 parts to this equation. Part number 1 is, yes, it's empirically proven that you can, once you start scrolling, it's like the old Pringles ad. Once you pop, you can't stop. But the second part of this is, what's Meta supposed to do? How do you make their platform less addictive?
Right.
It's not Meta's fault that we seek attention. It's not Meta's fault that we feel the way we feel when we get a notification. It's not Meta's fault that people have decided to live their lives based off of likes, comments, and shares.
Yep.
And how is any of that Meta's fault? I don't. That's the part that I think is going to be difficult to be proven in a court of law, is to say that it's Meta's doing because we all have that level of self-interest.
Very true. Well, the mission to save NASA's sinking Swift observatory was called off Wednesday, which means it will likely crash to Earth later this year. Freak out.
I don't know. Well, most of it's going to be incinerated,
Right.
as on reentry. That being said, though, it happens a lot more than you think. So I'm not worried at all.
I forget who was telling me that. Somebody was telling me, you might have been telling me that, Brian, maybe months ago, that all the time things are falling through the atmosphere and into Earth.
Yeah.
Almost every day. And
it's a pretty regular occurrence.
Right. So nothing to freak out over.
Mm.
According to Impact Data Bank, U.S. wine sales fell below 300 million cases last year for the first time in 2 decades.
Yeah, they didn't stop by the Haldane household to find out if we were.
Mine either.
Yeah. So you were saying last hour, Breland, I found this interesting that the reports on Gen Z and millennials are drinking less.
A lot, yes. Millennials, Gen Z. I would even venture to say some Gen X, just, I guess, getting older with age for their health. A lot of people are stepping to non-alcoholic beverages or just not drinking at all. It's a new trend that's going on.
Is it like drinking less or drinking less wine?
See, I don't know.
And what's the alternative there? What are we doing instead? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you
turn it off?
Down?
Right.
Yeah. How do you turn, like, after a long day of work? Do you just sit there and stare at a wall or something?
Right. I mean, not
drinking wall.
Not to sound like a complete functioning alcoholic, but you got to turn off the noise at the end of the day, man. What are we doing here? Here's the question, though. Okay, so I've actually got 2 parts of my question here. Part number 1 is, does this have anything to do with tariffs? Does this have anything to do with, we're now a year past of seeing products coming in from Italy, products coming in from France, products coming in from Australia, Chile, Argentina, whatever, wherever you're going to find wine from all around the world. Is this a repercussion of that? Part 2 is, now here's a second to enjoy this part of the question. How does marijuana factor into this?
Ooh, see, I didn't think about
because
that at all.
the more we see legalized marijuana, either on a prescription level for medicinal purposes or for recreational purposes, the more people can wind down with that, the less wine they're going to buy.
Yep. Go back to my first point. Is Gen Z and millennials just smoking now instead of drinking? So many factors here.
We will find out. Hopefully we'll find out. Coming up on 7:14 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're running a minute behind. I do need to remind you that 1 week from today, we'll be broadcasting live from the Lamar Dixon Rev Center as the Ascension Parish Chamber's Business Expo is coming up. Going to be a great day out there, a great day at the Business Expo. We're going to see from more than 100 exhibitors throughout the day. We're going to have keynote speakers, breakout speakers. We're going to have a full slate of Ascension Parish content for you. Obviously, there's a lot going on, right? Hyundai, CF Industries, those are just the 2 of the bigger pieces of the puzzle. What else is on that puzzle? That's what's coming up 1 week from today, courtesy of the Ascension Parish Chamber of Commerce. Quick break. We are right back to our guest list next.
We're up.
As a matter of fact, there are national tax relief companies that are currently running court orders to cease operations. So if you have IRS issues, do not fall for the threats and scare tactics of the national so-called tax relief companies. The Bryson Law Firm has been doing this for decades. We have a AAA BBB rating, and our entire focus is IRS problems and tax liability issues. An IRS problem is a legal problem. Let the Bryson Law Firm help you get relief the right way. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Don't put it off any longer. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm, LA3, filing number LA2519684.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
The drive in on I-12 finds the start of the backup at the Juban overpass. That is pretty solid now across the Amy River Bridge. onto O'Neill on the I-10 side. We have a few areas of moderate slowing, but really nothing that's going to hold you up for very long. We look to be in pretty good shape into and out of the Baton Rouge area. And if you see traffic problems, now pound 250, keyword Baton Rouge traffic. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Audible. When you start listening to books on Audible, traffic might seem like less of an annoyance and more of an opportunity for another chapter. Audible, stories that speak to you. New members can start listening with a 30-day free trial at audible.com.
This report comes to you from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center.
Looking for a real estate closing partner in Baton Rouge that offers mobile closing services? Mid-City Title, midcitytitle.com.
7:17 a.m. Talk 107.3 FM at WBRP. Morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. The road show continues, y'all. Shout out once again to the Louisiana Travel Association for having me out yesterday. Shout out to Tim Temple and the Department of Insurance for having me out right now. And then once this show's over, we are westbound and down for Lake Charles. Legislator coverage starts this evening at 4. We'll run till 6, and then tomorrow morning show, it will be broadcasting live from Low Bears and Lake Charles as well. Before we get to our next guest, I want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust. I don't like to spell it so you'll know where you're going online. Neurojust.com. If you or someone you know is battling with anxiety, depression, you need to know about Neurojust, especially if you don't like your treatment methods thus far. You don't like being on the meds. You don't like the antidepressants. You're showing diminishing returns or side effects. Give Neurojust a look. They specialize in something called TMS therapy, transcranial magnetic stimulation. I've actually sat through the process before. They gave the old TMS machine a little test drive, if you will. Completely painless, non-invasive. It is FDA approved. And oh, by the way, the guys over Neurojust, the whole crew over there, they're going to work to make sure your insurance is picking up the tab if you've tried other if you've tried other paths on your mental health journey. Give them a look at neurojust.com. Time to keep the guest list moving here. We've got Leslie Chapman Henderson, who is the president and CEO of the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes in Flash. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well.
That's
Glad to be here.
No, glad to have you on. What is the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes?
So our organization is a nonprofit. We were founded 28 years ago, and our mission hasn't changed from the beginning. It is strengthening homes and safeguarding families from disasters of all kinds. We began in Florida, which is how the Flash part came in. But once we got that name, we had to keep it because flash.org is just an easy place to go.
Okay.
But we do focus on everything from earthquake to winter storm, and we provide information for consumers. We provide training and continuing education for architects, builders, code officials, anybody that'll listen that can advance resilient homes. So we're focused on your house and how you can affordably make it resistant to whatever you face.
Okay. Well, that opens up all kinds of cans of worms.
It does. And we're very much a national and to some extent international in the information we send because we have other partners who translate it into other languages. And we're just trying to break down building science into something that you and I can understand.
Sure. No, it'd be nice if we could understand it. All right. Well, let's start with this. You started in Florida, move over here to Louisiana. What can we copy and paste? What applies? Does everything apply everywhere, or do you have to be specialized wherever you're at?
Well, I think here in Louisiana, you have a special category of concern for flooding, of course, the bayou, so to speak. And we did some work here over the years on that. I actually served on the Louisiana Consumer Commission that created your building code. And that was in that. So we started out as a committee, became formal in 98. I spent 12 years in the insurance industry on the ground after the disasters. And that's where I got my passion for this. But I served on that committee to help create a statewide building code for Louisiana. We were stalling out a little bit until Katrina hit. And then a delegation from Louisiana came down to Florida, looked around and said, you know what? I think we need to do this too. So you enacted your code, created your building code commission. There was a loophole. It has been closed. The loophole had to do with flooding. You didn't necessarily embrace the idea of the elevation requirements that were in the building code and floodplain management, but you have now.
Okay.
So you get an A, Louisiana, for your building code.
Wait, how recent are our building codes?
So let's see, the 2005 Katrina, a year later, everything started. The loophole was in place till four or so years ago. But here's the key. We still have to go back to those other houses
Yeah.
that were built before the new building code.
Right.
And we have programs to do that as well. We actually have a tool through the support of the FEMA Building Science Division and donated data from like Zillow, Zestimates, and Verisk, all these. You can actually look up your house
Mhm.
and it's going to benchmark your home on the code today
Mhm.
and say my house was built in 1998. And it's going to say, okay, Brian, your home was built in 98. We're assuming it's built to this code. Here's some things you can do to bring it up to modern standards. And it's dynamic. It's a simple scale, kind of good, better, best, or maybe not that good. And so you could say, well, yeah, I'm built in 1998, but I have a new roof and I sealed my roof deck and I did some things in the garage and I have a wind rated door. So you click, 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 and your score goes up.
Okay.
But it gives you a readout on the exact things you need to do that are in the model code. And then you can take that recipe and hand it to your helper, your builder, your retrofitter.
Yeah. Okay. So the new roof seems like an obvious one. That one's easy, but like, and I mean, like, a lot of folks' houses were built before that. Like mine was built in '64, and my house isn't all that old, you know. But at the same time, though, okay. So I'm like scanning my brain right now. Like, what can I do? Like, roof is one thing. Give me a quick little punch list.
So one of the things that we have become so excited about the last several years is your garage door.
What?
Yep. So for years, I went out 12 years plus 28. Now I've dated myself. You go out in the field after a big wind event and you see a pattern of imploded garage doors. And then above that garage, you see the roof coming from the inside out, exploding. And that's because that's a hole in your house, your garage.
Okay.
You lose your door. It's like a balloon. Pressure comes in, pushes up on the roof, collapses the sidewalls. So we see this damage pattern, but we never had any type of data or proof of it until late 23 when one of our partners came down from DC, NIST, and said, we have a correlation analysis here that says in wind speeds up to 135, what does that mean? A high EF2, that's the highest EF2 tornado. It's a category 4 hurricane. And wind speeds up to 135, what we found is when the garage door remained, you didn't get that roof implosion and you kept your sidewalls too. We went, well, wait a minute. If a single upgrade to that one product can make that big of a difference, we need to really dial into that. And so we just put out a paper. It's on the website, explains all the science. We're working with the industry. We went to one of the major manufacturers, Haas, and we said, so what's the cost difference? If I buy a basic door think metal tic-tac-toe superimposed on your garage door. Okay,
Sure.
So you're looking at your garage door, you're hearing this, go out in the garage and look. If you see metal struts across and down like a tic-tac-toe, you're probably in good shape and have a wind-rated door. If you see no metal struts, it'd be a nice thing to think about an upgrade to a wind-rated door. Haas told us $225 difference in cost. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. So
Okay.
that's a very typical example of the things we try to find. We get the good science. We look for the affordable thing that makes a big impact because the roof is essential. It's pretty much the start and end, but not everybody's ready for the roof quite yet.
Right.
Or the cost.
And nobody's jumping the gun and getting a roof before they absolutely need to.
No.
So
they are not.
That falls into it. All right. So for those of us that don't have a garage, but we have a carport, what else is on your list?
Carport columns are super important. They have to be anchored. And this is another very fixable thing. You have to check those out in the pre-code days. They might have set those columns in the dirt without a metal base.
Okay.
What does that lead to? I bet you can guess. Wood rot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Weak. So during a storm, and we have a very famous video, we called it The Tale of Two Homes of a house built in 64.
Hey, all right.
Hittin' Charlie had a carport, the one across the street, and the one across the street was new code, survived the carport columns. Now we know you're going to check yours. Didn't make it because the wind gets up under the carport. Same principle as the garage, and it bounced the columns.
Oh, wow.
And eventually the carport peels back like the key on a sardine can, right? It peels it back and it takes the rest of the roof with it, which is exactly what happened to that house. So I want you to anchor those columns.
Okay.
And you'll have a sturdier house and maybe someday close in that carport with a new shiny wind-rated door.
I wish. I still wish. We're talking with Leslie Chapman Henderson, President and CEO of the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes. Let's talk a little bit about what you're doing at the conference today.
So I'm very excited to be here. When we started our mission in Florida after Hurricane Andrew several years, we realized we had all this great information, but how do you get it out?
Right.
Right? Do things like this. We also realized we had a great ally at the time, Governor Jeb Bush, who had survived Hurricane Andrew.
Yeah.
He has a pretty famous story about how he was in Miami. Brother's the president. He has a Secret Service detail, but they called him right before the storm, said, "Sorry, sir, we have to pull out. We can't leave our people there." But they made it, of course. But he's a very big advocate to this day. So we created a program called Leadership Partners. And today you'd call them influencers.
Oh.
Anybody with an audience and the credibility to give lift to this information and spread the news. It's not just about luck. You can survive. So today I'm going to have the honor of inducting your insurance commissioner, Tim Temple, into our Leadership Partner Program because of his 2.5 years in office. His record on resilience, which is our mission and cause, is impeccable and extremely successful. Look at this gathering. Look at all the people here. Look at all the topics. He's not just working as a resilience leader. He's advocating for legislation and supporting legislation that has taken your fortification program from temporary. They took off the sunset. He supported that. You've hit the 10,000 mark,
right,
with the number of fortified roofs. And he has created his own recognition program to lift up and promote resilience leadership at the local level. I think there was someone here yesterday from one of the parishes getting an award from him for finding a way to add more money to the fund to fortify roofs.
Okay.
So he's just a natural fit for our program, and it's an honorary designation, but it's also important recognition because when people, you know how we are, we look at the world and we hear someone say something. If we trust that person, we believe what they say.
Yeah.
And so the power of the leadership program, the other voices in that program, Dr. Rick Knabb from the Weather Channel, who was once the head of the Hurricane Center, he's a leadership partner. We have just all different types of folks. Jim Cantori, also from the Weather Channel. We have other insurance commissioners from other states, some of whom are here. Commissioner Cheney from Mississippi.
Okay.
Governors. We actually have one of my favorite is a husband and wife team who survived the 2011 Tuscaloosa tornado outbreak.
Oh, wow.
And their story still to this day is very, very compelling. They moved to Alabama, didn't really understand much about tornadoes, but figured they better have a tornado safe room. So Kevin and his dad built one. And after the outbreak, they survived with their 3-year-old and 5-month-old in the safe room. Their entire home was gone.
Wow.
3 homes to the right, 4 to the left, gone.
Really?
Paint transfer from 4 pickup trucks that battered the safe room were evident afterwards. And they walked out, and it's a very iconic picture on our website of the Harrison family. I just got an invitation from Sophie Harrison, who was 3. For her high school graduation.
Oh, no way.
So I wrote a blog about it. I said I've never cried at work before until yesterday.
That's kind of cool. That is very, very cool. Unbelievable stuff across the board, up to and including the recognition for our insurance commissioner. It's always nice when you can hear from someone outside the state to hear about how our own folks are doing. Leslie Chapman Henderson, thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We've got news, traffic, weather on the way. After news, traffic, and weather, we'll get right back into the guest list. We got Renee Amar joining us in just a quick bit. Right now, though, here's ABC News on Talk 107.3. We'll be broadcast to our next guest. I want to remind you about the folks who are battling with OJQS non-invasive movement here. Good morning. Good morning. Eurojust.com. Time to keep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wait.
Financial institutions, businesses, airports, or government entities that help sanctions will face tremendous economic consequences. A deadly mid-air collision at an airport just outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The pilot of a small plane that collided with a police helicopter was killed. The state troopers on board the chopper survived. That line of heavy storms walloping the Midwest
into the Northeast. This is 6 News. Governor Jeff Winfrey will reportedly announce next Tuesday that Elon Musk's SpaceX plans to build a multi-billion-dollar spaceport in Vermilion Parish. The Astro reports the spaceport will be built on 130 acres of coastal marshland near Pecan Island and launch rockets into orbit. Advocate reporter Stephanie Regal.
From what I'm hearing, it's going to be a bigger deal in terms of capital expenditure and employment and just the overall impact.
A poll conducted by Public Policy Polling shows Republican Julia Letlow leading Democrat Jamie Davis by 4 points in the race for U.S. Senate. One finding of the poll of 518 registered voters found that more than half had neither a favorable nor unfavorable opinion of Davis, compared to just over 1/4 for Letlow. LSU political science professor Robert Hagan says it underscores the gap in name recognition.
She is running somewhat like an incumbent. That she is the current member of Congress and just born out of a recent statewide primary.
Doctors in Louisiana are sounding the alarm over potential funding cuts to the National Institutes of Health. Here's Joe Gallinaro.
In the fiscal 2027 budget, President Trump is proposing slashing $5 billion from the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Chancellor Donald at the Tulane University School of Medicine says if Congress doesn't put that money back on September, the effects would be devastating. Donald says you can take NIH funding for advances in medicine. I'm Joe Gallinaro.
A Weston High teacher is facing a second-degree rape charge after a multi-agency investigation uncovered multiple sexual assault allegations. Weston police say the investigation began in July when a woman reported 32-year-old Fraser Hogan had sexually assaulted her in 2020 when she was just 14. Lieutenant Hogan was booked into the Lincoln Parish Detention Center following his arrest yesterday. I'm Joan Burns, 107.3.
Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
We have a couple of accidents on board, including College and Westdale, as well as Florida Boulevard near Sharp Road. Our drive time on I-12 is up to 38 minutes, due into the 10-12 split. And if you're traveling along Essen Lane, drive time between Perkins and Jefferson Highway, easy 7 minutes. No big interstate crashes on the board into and out of the area. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more.
My goodness.
I'm sad I told you so, but I switched to Third Talk over a year ago, and ever since I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. A few months ago, a massive survey of 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: public, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Yes, the wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category. Your phone. 5 stars every category. To celebrate, your phone is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250 to say micro and your phone US customer service can make it. Again, pound 250.
How we looking, Breland?
Still in commercial. We probably a minute.
Okay. I don't know which one to put. Hang on. Hang on a second. Go ahead. Put it on. And I'm going to take this off of there and pull that up just a little bit. And let's see. Are you on? Give me 1, 2.
1, 2.
Okay. So you're on 2. Oh, and of course, Facebook Live.
Okay, that's right. I probably shouldn't have worn white.
Oh, you're good.
I wasn't thinking about the Facebook Live.
And I need to remember when I'm on location. Like yesterday was awesome, but like I need to remember to ask. Like I want to be where everyone else is.
Yeah.
That's well, we're gonna put you someplace that's quiet. I'm like I don't want quiet.
Oh, during the day you're gonna be.
I know, but I want to flip it around to where my backdrop is everybody else.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't, like if this is behind me, I might as well be in the studio.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Warm weather.
Okay.
I love this guy.
Mike, oh, he was awesome.
I was at NFIB when
I-
Obamacare was passing.
Yeah.
Learned so much from him.
Well, once I had him on, once the segment was over, I started thinking I should have put him on a segment sooner and kept him for 2.
Yes.
Because he was better than anything I was saying.
Yes.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I
736 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Broadcasting live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference, getting right back into our conversations in just a quick minute. But I do need to remind you about Guarantee Health Solutions, a national healthcare growth and experience transformation company, which, by the way, is based in Baton Rouge. Guarantee Health Solutions, if you're in the medical field in any form or fashion, if you are running an urgent care, just a simple primary care office, the family doctor, Doc Hollywood, whatever you are, you need to give us a quick listen about what Guarantee Health Solutions can do. They're not your traditional consulting firm. It's a lot more embedded. It's a lot more personal. It's a lot more relationship driven. And basically, think of it as like a C-suite office, if you will. You're going to get inside with the executive team. They're going to work with your executive team before you make hires, before you develop strategy. They're going to help you align strategy. Before you're deep in your operations, they're going to help you align operations. You get the front of the house talking to the back of the house. And oh, by the way, putting the patient first on a concierge level from start to finish. If you want to learn more, visit guaranteehealth.com, bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. Right back into our guest list. Told y'all it's going to be a fast-moving show today, y'all. And so far, it has been nothing short of awesome with our first 3 guests, Mike Berto, Heidi Stiller, and, of course, Leslie Chapman-Henderson in our last segment. And I already know, because she's semi-regular on the show, Renee Amar is going to join us, or is with us right now. Renee, good morning. Welcome back. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm wonderful.
So the Louisiana Motor Transportation Association, legislative session goes, legislative comes, legislative goes, legislative comes, legislative goes. Homeowners insurance, I've dropped my homeowners insurance by almost half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Personal auto insurance, I've dropped by, I want to say it was 10%. And
Nice.
that's, which it balanced out because we added a driver a couple of years ago. So I'm not saving money per month, but I'm saving money per driver.
But also probably a young driver.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That's
she's
painful.
in college now, but
Still.
But so I'm seeing all this movement, and
Yep.
meanwhile Renee's over here going, "What happened to me?"
Yes.
Guys, it's like, do you feel like the ship has left the harbor
Mhm.
from time to time?
A little bit.
Sine die comes around, and you're like, "Guys, I'm not on the boat yet."
Hey.
So
hey.
you've been fighting harder than anybody when it comes to commercial auto insurance, when it comes to insuring the fleet and whatnot. What gives? This is a tough nut to crack.
It really is. And I think you have to back up just a little bit for people to really understand that not just the market, but who we are.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think it's hard to see when you drive down the interstate in the state of Louisiana every half a mile. There are these big billboards on the highway, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason that we are the target on those billboards. And it is because our insurance might be 2550, and that means 25,000, 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
A trucker's insurance, our mandatory minimum by law is 750,000. So you're adding many zeros to that equation.
Yeah.
And so if you're an attorney, do you want to make 30% off of 25,000? Or what most truckers carry is at least a minimum of $1 million. If you carry a hazmat material, it's 5 million. And some carry more. So, or do you want 30% of 1 million or 5 million? And so we are the target. And I truly believe that is why we are the tough nut to crack, because we're the people that you really want to.
Oh yeah,
we're the jackpot.
You're no longer spinning
justice.
the wheel. You're in the showcase showdown at this
Correct.
point. That's and when you put those numbers in that simple of a format, it makes it very easy to understand. There's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Absolutely.
And everybody wants that pot of gold.
They are the
I get
leprechaun.
it. Yeah,
Yes.
no, absolutely. And look, and how much of this is we just have such an ingrained basis of we just accept it.
Yep.
How much of this is that? How much of this is are there I don't want to say outside forces, but like I believe a lot of this is these are the rules of the game and we've always played by them. Why would we change them because it seems to work? But it really doesn't.
No, the status quo is very ingrained in the state of Louisiana, and we talk about that in many different facets, right? When it comes to tax and other,
right
areas, right? And so trying to unweave the status quo is incredibly difficult. And so you're talking about everything, not just in the civil justice system, because this is also third party litigation funders that fund people's campaigns in the state of Louisiana. So we're not just talking about the legal system. It is a lot broader and a lot bigger than that. And so I think it's really hard for the public to understand. And it's incredibly hard from a messaging standpoint for us.
Yeah.
Just to boil that message down, to the man on the street and say, this is really something we need to tackle. Because I always try to explain to people for two reasons a trucker's insurance rates impact you. Insurance rates, no matter who's paying for it across the board, yours and mine, everybody's in the state of Louisiana, we're all paying for it.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Just so everybody understands that. Insurance fraud, nobody is getting away with anything. We're all paying for it. But also the trucker is just the middleman from the railroad to your house or from the airplane to your house. And so that is how your goods are being delivered. And so whatever that trucker is billing for that freight, that is a cost to us.
Right.
And so that whatever his insurance cost is, that's being shifted to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if it's part of the cost of doing business, it's part of your retail cost as well.
Yeah,
it is that simple.
And I'm trying to explain to lawmakers the disservice that they're doing to the Louisiana businesses, because those businesses in Texas, Mississippi, and Arkansas are much more easier. It's easier for them to compete than economically what we're doing to our businesses in Louisiana. We're just annihilating them with this insurance issue.
Well, and especially at a time where we're going to start seeing more of the demand on that end as well.
Correct.
Absolutely. Something as simple as huge construction projects that have to import parts to those projects themselves.
That's right.
Especially if you're talking about specialization, specialized construction, very intricate things. That's going to be a lot of stuff on the road.
No, we talk a lot. Obviously, I have meetings with DOTD and various departments. They will have to be going to out-of-state trucking companies to move certain things. And I have members who do a lot of heavy haul, and they'll talk about like they're one of the few that will be moving things to Houston while they'll see, Houston companies coming in, picking up stuff from Louisiana, moving it back to Houston. And so it's just a reminder to our lawmakers.
Renee Amar with the Louisiana Motor Transportation Association. I always want to get to transportation and motor backwards. I don't know why.
Just
motor
truckers.
Truckers.
Just the truckers.
We're talking truckers. I want to talk about two things specifically before we get you out of here. And one of those you mentioned a moment ago is the third party litigation thing.
Yep.
This is one that to me feels very, very like we can surgically remove this if we want to. And something as simple as putting a name to the face or a face to the name.
Yep.
Or some sort of removal of anonymity from third-party litigation has been an unbelievable hurdle in and of itself.
Yep.
So not just removing the man behind the curtain, but naming the man behind the curtain seems tough enough. So give us a 60-second definition of what third-party litigation is, and then how we can go about maybe affecting it because of the negative effects.
So third-party litigation funding is someone that invests in lawsuits, and that is plain and simple, pretty much what it is. And they say they're really doing it for the little man, but for some reason, decades ago, lawsuits were able to be funded before these third-party litigation funders existed.
Right.
And they always have really innocuous names like Allegiance Management Company, something healthcare fund. They're really not, someone you could really recognize if you were a man off the street.
Right.
And what North Carolina did was they banned it. And so plain
Wow.
and simple, correct. Yeah, they didn't mess around with disclosure, tell us who's involved, because what it is I've got a trucker and I have a plaintiff, and those are the two parties to the lawsuit. They're getting in the middle of the lawsuits and they are having a say in that lawsuit. And to me, in civil litigation, that's just simply wrong.
Right.
There should not be an outside person involved in a lawsuit.
Right.
That is, there is something wrong in our legal system when we're allowing this to happen.
When you have two sides to a story, if you're bankrolling one side, I mean, it would be like, in sports having, say in basketball, allowing 10 players on the court for one team when only 5 on the other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It sets up an impossible scenario where one side is going to win just from the manpower of it. 10 lawyers is better than one.
And I could read you story after story of a worker in just New York, for example, that, got millions of dollars in a settlement and ended up with a very small amount of money because the third party litigation fund got so much money.
That's another thing we need to look at too. If you're holding a giant check, is that your take home or was that the settlement amount?
Oh yeah, and they put that little small detail on the billboard.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit too small to see, but it's there.
How are you reading that? Going 60 miles an hour on the highway.
Completely get that.
Correct.
Give me one other one real quick with because third party litigation is one that gets me fired up because I'm a free market guy. You're putting your finger on the scale of justice when you're bringing in reinforcements.
Yep.
Give me one other one that you feel that could make a pretty big difference.
The medical billing issue for us is absolutely number one. Would they have clinics just for us? They overbill us and they overtreat for us. You're talking about a $30,000 MRI. An MRI for you and I, if we paid for it with our health or cash, would be $500, $1,000.
Yeah.
My members are paying $30,000 for an MRI. That is beyond ridiculous.
I don't in any other world that's called price gouging.
Correct. I mean, there should be some benchmarking for prices when it comes to litigation.
Right. I mean, you check into a hotel room, there's gonna be a sign on the back of your door that says what their maximum price is for any time.
Absolutely.
Why is this not an apples to apples thing?
Yes.
I don't.
How is this that hard?
No, I don't know. It can be done
it.
in every other individual piece of the economy. It can be done. I don't. Well, we know why, but that's for
another day.
Right, exactly. In the meanwhile, we got about 60 seconds to go. What's your role here today?
I am here to listen and learn.
Okay.
Todd Kozakowski, I think is his name. You had him on yesterday. One of the
I
speakers.
wasn't here yesterday.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. If you ever have an opportunity to hear from him, forewarn. He talks about how we're being targeted in the digital age rather than on billboards. Fascinating for the people that are listening. Go look him up. Forewarn. It's interesting how the landscape has changed tremendously.
30 seconds left, and this is way too unfair of a question to ask with just 30 seconds. Can the mindset of jackpot justice be undone?
I think over a period of time, absolutely anything
Really?
can be changed.
All right.
Yes, I think
All right.
culture can be changed.
I mean,
yes, I'm always very optimistic.
Well, that is a Sisyphean feat, to be sure. She's
Yes.
Renee Amar with Truckers. Greatly appreciate a couple minutes this
Thanks,
morning.
Brian.
We're coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM. We're going to check your money now. We're going to check traffic. This Day in History is on the back end next. So I got to tell you, have I ever... Live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance. 7.3 FM, but I do need to remind you, they're going to work with your executive team, Michigan Capital Healthcare, and on the show, Renee A1 segment. And I already know because she's semi-regular on the show, Renee, Mike Bartow, High Distiller, of course. So far, it has been. Day history is on the back end. We're coming up on greatly appreciate a couple minutes.
Thanks, Brian.
SK Hynix announced they would be sharing their annual operating profit with workers last year. Futures have dropped this morning as Walmart shares tumble back to the money now.
Recruiter.
I know the hiring sound. You need someone to match you. Well, now you can beat them back on Zipper. Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it free. And on your way to begin your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate for a day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
LSU is more than just football scores. It's recruiting battles, NIL, SEC politics, coaching decisions, public records, financial decisions worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Nobody covers the complete story like Tiger Rag. Every day at TigerRag.com and every month in Tiger Rag Magazine, you'll find award-winning journalism, exclusive interviews, insider analysis, recruiting coverage, opinion, history, and investigative reporting that other outlets simply don't have. Tiger Rag was recently honored with first place for breaking news by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association for its coverage of LSU athletics. Whether you're following Lane Kiffin, Jay Johnson, Will Wade, Kim Mulkey, or the future of LSU athletics, Tiger Rag is where serious LSU fans begin. Visit TigerRag.com today. Tiger Rag, more than big games. The story behind LSU sports.
At Gulf Coast Office Products, we do more than provide office equipment. We optimize efficiency for businesses across all industries. As a nationally recognized RICO dealer, we get decades of expertise in education, engineering, legal, finance, and beyond. From desktop solutions to high production systems, you'll find the perfect fit to keep your business moving forward. With 100 employees strong, we're ready to help. Call 225-756-2644. Gulf Coast Office Products, your workplace efficiency lifeline.
Want to make a difference in the future of health? Pennington Biomedical is looking for people just like you to get involved. Whether it's joining a research study supporting groundbreaking science or attending community events, your participation advances discoveries that improve lives. From clinical trials shaping the future of medicine to wellness programs promoting healthier lifestyles, every step you take makes an impact. Your involvement today leads to a healthier tomorrow. Be a part of the movement for better health. Find out how at tdrp.edu/get-involved.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
The drive-ins got notably slower all around the area, especially I-12. We're at 46 minutes from Cuban to the 10-12 split on westbound I-10 Highland Bridge, 26-minute drive there. And if you're traveling on the eastbound side from LA 415 across the river down to the 110, 10 minutes along the way. A couple of accident spots, including Florida near Sharp, as well as College in Westdale. I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Still sleeping on that old bed? Mattress Firm's sleep experts can help you choose the perfect upgrade. They'll guide you every step, answering your questions. Shop today and save big during the best sale of the year. They make sleep easy.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
This is Adrienne Holly with Relief Windows, your window and door headquarters, reliefwindows.com.
What's to turn on my volume there? 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're just about done with hour number 2, but before we are done with hour number 2, I want to remind you a little bit about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport, flybtr.com's website, flybtr.com. If you're making travel plans for business, if you're making travel plans for Tiger football, if you're making travel plans to get the family out of the house to go, like, think about it, if you're traveling to see family over Thanksgiving. It's not too soon to start looking at that, right? It's just a couple months away. Flybtr.com. Take the entire experience into account, okay? Do you want to drive an hour up the road or an hour down the road? And then more importantly, on the way back home, do you want to drive an hour after you're back home? You want to be home when you're home. You don't want to be an hour away from home when you're home. And take into account the TSA experience. Take into account the exorbitant parking charges. All of this combines for your whole experience. And that's why flybtr.com, the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. No, by the way, supporting a local business. The Baton Rouge Metro Airport is a fantastic option for you when it comes to making your travel plans flybtr.com. All right, Bree Lynn, it's time for This Day in History.
All right, going back to the year 1866, President Andrew Johnson declares the insurrection in Texas over and officially ending the U.S. Civil War on this day in history.
Wait, what?
President Andrew Johnson, he declared the insurrection in Texas. It was over and officially ending the U.S. Civil War.
I need to learn more about this.
Yes,
Okay.
he issues Proclamation 157.
Okay.
Pretty cool stuff.
That's way better than Order 66 because that's what killed the Jedi.
Oh, I got that. 1866, the National Labor Union forms, championing the 8-hour workday as the standard for all workers on this day in history.
Very awesome.
1920.
For them, not for now, but for them.
Right. The NFL is founded in 1920. It was representatives from several professional football teams. They met in Canton, Ohio, and they all sat down and they renamed what was known as the American Professional Football Conference to now we know the NFL.
I had always wondered why the NFL Hall of Fame was in Canton, Ohio. Because the league offices aren't there. There's the league offices aren't there. There's no franchise there. But then, a couple years ago, I learned that's where that first meeting was that formed the league.
No clue why. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, no, you just said why. The meeting that formed the league was in Canton, Ohio.
I know, but why Canton, Ohio?
Oh, why was the meeting there?
Yeah.
Oh, who the hell knows? That was 100 years ago.
Right. Okay.
But I'm saying, why was the Hall of Fame there?
Oh, yeah. Good point. A fun little radio nugget for you. In 1920, the first commercial radio station airs. So here's the deal. It's now known as WWJ. They began regular daily broadcast. It was the first commercial radio station to send out regular news programming.
Okay.
So it's actually National Radio Day today.
Fantastic.
Don't get that confused, though, because later on this same year, on November 2nd, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the first commercially licensed station kicked off. So a lot of radio news is in 1920.
All right. What else we got?
Year. Just skipping ahead, Voyager 2, NASA launched it from Cape Canaveral, and it remains the only probe to have visited both Uranus and Neptune, and it's still out there in deep space somewhere.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout for it.
Right. 1989, Saved by the Bell premieres on NBC.
That was the one I was going to get to. Okay, so I was going to get to that one, so let me get to this one instead. On this day, what premiered on this day in 2021?
I don't know. What?
Paw Patrol, the movie, that's what.
Oh, love it.
Monumental historical day right
we
there.
We got to wrap up very fast. Happy birthday to Francis T. Nichols.
Okay.
And also Demi Lovato. No notable deaths. National Day is Radio Day.
All right. Hour 3 is coming up next on Talk 107.3.
ABC News.
All right. I've been chilling over in Facebook Live. It's probably been a light day in Facebook Live. Because I haven't been over there at all.
I haven't looked either. Let me go look.
Oh, Debbie sounded off when we were talking about the lack of drinking. She says that the THC drinks are probably playing into this.
Probably.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah, probably.
I got a muffin that came in a wrapper that is complex.
It looks delightful.
Does it?
I don't know. Let me look. Show me the muffin. Hold on. Let me. Oh wait. Hang on. Let me pull up Facebook. Let me see you eating this muffin.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, how does it look delightful? You can't even see the thing.
I just know I'm starving to death.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
So you actually have to. So here's the muffin, and there's a wrapper I got to rip off of it. So.
Okay. Show me the muffin.
Well,
I got you pulled up.
Well, it's right there. There you go. Oh, it's going to take a second with the latency and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
not gonna,
there it. Damn, that's a big old muffin.
it is not. That's tiny.
No, that looks like. I
It's
don't know. It looks huge to me.
look compared to my fist. Look at the screen right now. Well, in a minute. It's,
Okay.
yeah, it's about a third the size of my fist.
I'm thinking it's one of those gourmet. You ever have a gourmet muffin from Costco?
No.
I'm thinking it looks like that, but no, it definitely doesn't.
I'm gonna eat on my. Let me turn my mic off to chew.
Da 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 da. Da da da. Da da da.
All right, I think we had Tim Temple to lead off and bat second this hour.
Well, hello, Renee. Hello, Matt and Ange. Yeah, I haven't checked the Facebook either. Or Matt, not Matt and Ange. Matt.
There he is. Come on in. How are you, sir?
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Walmart is flashing a warning sign about the American consumer. The big box retailer's quarterly sales fell short of expectations at just 2.6% last quarter. Its slowest pace in 6 years. It's a rare miss that's likely to raise concerns about household budgets all around the country. The results suggest it's becoming a more challenging environment for the world's largest retailer. Shares are falling in the early trade, and that's weighing on stock index futures this morning. Meantime, U.S. refiners are cranking up production as the global fuel market gets squeezed. Disruptions around the Persian Gulf and damage to Russian refineries have tightened supplies. The prospect of huge profits is pushing American refiners to run their plants at full throttle. And it's the end of the road for Columbia House. The iconic mail order business says it will stop accepting new orders after September 15th. Columbia House became famous for its deals, such as getting 12 albums or cassettes for a penny. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
If you're coming into Baton Rouge on eastbound I-10, backup start a bit before the LA-1 exit on the Port Allen side of the bridge. It's going to run tight down past the I-110 on westbound I-10. That line starts about Blue Bonnet. Does run tight across the 1012 on out Perkins. I-12 approach a little bit better now. The line closer to the Tupanoka path, still running tight across the Amy River Bridge.
This report is sponsored by Staples. All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year.
Hello, hello. Good morning. Brian.
Oh, we're in.
Brian.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn back in studio. We've got a busy hour this hour. We're broadcasting live from the Hilton New Orleans Riverside as we're at the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. Our insurance commissioner is on with us right now, so we're wasting no time at all. Good morning, sir. How are you? Well, you're on 2, not on 3. That's mine.
All right. Good morning. Yeah, appreciate y'all being here this morning.
No, I greatly appreciate the invite. We did this a couple of years ago and then didn't do it last year. So when I got the call that we're going to do it this year, I got all excited because taking a deep dive into what affects our budgets on a day-to-day basis is important. And I think it's hard to argue that insurance in every form or fashion does not, account for a whole lot of a personal family budget.
Look, it impacts every facet of our state, our economy, our individual budgets, our company budgets.
Right.
It is vitally important. It's important we get it right.
Yes.
And this year's conference, as you said, we're out of New Orleans this year. 2 years ago, my first conference as commissioner, we were around 300 people.
Okay.
Last year, we broke the 400 mark, and this year we have 530 attendees. Wow. So we outgrew Baton Rouge.
Sure.
And I like keeping it in Baton Rouge because I can bring more of my coworkers from the department and participate. But unfortunately, we had to go to places that had more capacity.
Oh no, it's worthwhile though. I mean, to have that many faces in there, to have that many ears on problems and minds that are contributing. I want to start there if we could.
Sure.
How much of this conference is collaboration versus just a dissemination of information?
Yeah, there is a lot of collaboration that's going on. I mean, Louisiana is on the tip of the tongue for a lot of insurance companies because of the reform that we're doing, both at the regulatory level and at the legislative level, the laws that are changing, again, to rebalance the system. There are a lot of companies here. I mean, we've got reinsurance brokers, we've got insurance agents, we have claims people, IT, fraud. There's a lot of topics, and it's how do you make the system work for consumers? And people probably saying, well, no, it's not really working yet. But you have to remember, insurance companies, if their product's not affordable, people don't buy it.
Right.
And the problem in Louisiana, and your listeners are going to hear me say this again and again because it's true, is that when a claim occurs in Louisiana, it's more expensive. That's what we've been getting to over the last 2.5 years. We've had countless meetings, hearings, conversations, research reports, and we're trying to drill down into that. Let the people understand why claims are more important, and then let's change the laws to make it so that they aren't. Because, quite frankly, people are taking advantage of the system. People, businesses, they're abusing the system in our state, and then that's why it's more expensive.
You say if a product's not affordable, people won't buy it. If a product's not profitable, people won't sell it, which is the other part of that equation.
Right. And again, when Louisiana is an outlier, meaning the most expensive, the highest rate, and rate translates into premium. But when we've got the highest rates for our autos and our property, our homes, and our businesses in our state, you got to ask why. That means all these other states have figured it out. All the other states that have similar exposure that Louisiana does, they have figured it out. We're getting there. We've got, I'm very fortunate. I've got 5 insurance commissioners from other states here at the conference. We've got we've got Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia commissioners here. And they want to be part of the conversation. And I like them being here because some of those states, especially Georgia and Florida over the last several years, have done monumental reform, legal reform in their states. And their citizens are starting to benefit from that. Louisiana, we've done some, and we're going to continue to do more until we get the premiums down, make it affordable for consumers.
Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple is with us. Let's talk about that on a number of different fronts. And we got you for 2 segments. So,
yes, whatever you need.
So we're starting to see it chip away a little bit. However, we live in a news cycle-based world. This is where the difficult part rolls in, is to say, hey, we did reform, and then the conversation's over with. How difficult is it to continually beat the drum without beating a dead horse?
Well, look, I think because it's still in everybody's mind in the state. I mean, they still see those insurance premium bills they have to pay.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it needs to be on the forefront. And I think it will stay on the forefront. As far as reform is concerned, I mean, we've had this conversation before on your show about, if you want to get in shape, you go to the gym. You want to stay in shape, you keep going to the gym. Same thing with reform. I mean, we can't expect that you just pass a law or several laws and it's just going to magically fix everything.
Right.
One thing it takes, we just did an independent report. We think it shows somewhere between 24 and 36 months before the auto reform that we've passed takes effect.
Okay.
But that's 2 years, maybe 3, that other states are going to continue to do reform in their states to make their states either remain competitive or become more competitive. we're competing against those states.
Yes.
For resources, for insurance company capacity. So if we don't continue to maintain a healthy marketplace, then that capital will go somewhere else. I mean, we're seeing on economic development, all these companies coming to Louisiana with economic development, they come here because it makes sense economically. The state is recruiting these companies. They're passing laws and legislation to entice them to come do business,
right?
Make Louisiana a competitive market for whatever their industry is. We need to do the same thing for the insurance industry. We want companies doing business, writing our homes, writing our auto, creating that competitive market, which we as consumers benefit from. You've gone through this recently. When you got multiple companies that want to write your home, you come out ahead.
Oh yeah. After you pounding me over the head for maybe a year and a half, I finally shopped my homeowner's insurance policy and knocked my premium down by half.
Yeah,
by half. Like that, I don't know how to not get excited about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of money that you get to spend not with an insurance company, but wherever else you need to spend it.
Well, and I've got 3 kids, so yes, I've spent
We know where that
it was
goes.
already spent.
Right.
It was already spent, to be sure. I tell you what, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to pick back up because we've only scratched the surface, and we're not going to get the half of it, I'm sure. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple's with me. Before we take that break, though, let me remind you about Industry Makes, industrymakes.org. In fact, right after I'm done here, I'm packing up and heading west on I-10 to go to Legislator tomorrow morning. Desiree Lemoyne from Industry Makes is going to be one of my guests on the show, talking about who is standing up for industry. We're seeing growth. We're seeing progress. But that always comes with somebody trying to stand in the way. And when industry gets taken down, when industry is in the headlines for whatever the case might be, who has the return serve? That's where industrymakes.org comes into play. Visit industrymakes.org and ask a few questions. They've got some frequently asked questions that they answer. They bust some myths. They give you some facts. Industries up and down the river don't just provide jobs for our neighbors, although they do provide jobs for our neighbors, but they also make sure that the products we use in everyday life are here at our fingertips at all times. Learn more at industrymakes.org. Quick break. We're back with Tim Temple next. New Orleans Riverside, as we're at the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. Our insurance, we're at the New Orleans Riverside, as we're at the Louisiana Department of Insurance. We're at the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual. It's just we've only scratched Temple's with me. Before we take that, I can get the half of it, I'm sure. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple's with me.
From 9 to noon on Talk 107.3. Now a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
If you're coming down the I-110, traffic is starting to get a bit heavy. The problem is before the Hollywood exit appears to be some sort of substance, maybe spilled in a load of dirt, or whatever it is, starting to slow traffic there on that. We are seeing the backup now that's before the 19 interchange. Making the drive in on I-12, it is a healthy 49 minutes from Cuban to Split. Howard Narrow.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Pros, come see Lowe's new big design Lowe's showroom and get up to 35% off trusted brands like Style Selection, Stainmaster, and Stainmaster PepperTech Special Order Carpet. Find more of what you need for the job and save at Lowe's. W26 plus selection. This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Sleep Windows, operate. Visit sleepwindows.com.
8:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcasting live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. Tim Temple is in with us. Before I move any further, thank you so much for this invite. This is just it is nice to actually hear from experts with inside the industry. It's nice to actually learn what's going on behind the numbers, because it's one thing just to like look at numbers and complain. It's another thing because you can't fix a problem unless you can diagnose a problem. shows like this today with you bringing this out, or you brought Moon out yesterday, when you can actually understand what the problem is, you can actually diagnose and solve the problem.
Well, look, and I think transparency is important in education and knowledge. And look, when you think about insurance, it is one of, if not the largest expenditure, for a lot of individuals, for a lot of businesses. And insurance, it's not a sexy product. It's not.
You keep saying that, but my bank account is the sexiest thing there. Like if taking my money is important to me. So it's all in how you view the problem.
And I want business owners, I want individuals to be able to learn and gain knowledge as much as they're willing to about insurance, because I'm a believer. The more you know about your insurance policy, what's covered, what's not covered, your deductible, even though we don't like that number, you need to know what it is and how it impacts your, if you have a claim. I think you're going to have a better claims experience.
Right.
The more you know about it. And so, we've been trying to create some education on that. We were able to get a law passed last year that now will require, I think January of 27, will require insurance companies on homeowners, when you get your bill, it's going to show how that dollar gets distributed within the insurance company. How much goes to taxes? How much goes to potential profit? How much goes to loss reserves? How much goes to surplus? They're going to have to break it out in some general buckets. But if you're paying $1,000, you're going to get to know how that gets distributed. I think we also need to have transparency on the backside when an insurance company pays a claim.
Okay.
I think that people need to know, okay, they paid a claim out. If you got in a wreck with somebody and your insurance company had to pay somebody for your negligence here, did that person get all the money? How much went to the attorneys? How much went to medical fees? How much went to cover repair of the vehicle or lost wages, or all the buckets that are involved in that? I think transparency on both sides of the dollar need to be had. And again, once consumers see that and know that, you can start to see where the problems are. And then the citizens can get more engaged and want to be part of the solution.
How much of this, when looking for that transparency, how much of it is, as a populace, we need to be educated that we're not going to like all the numbers, but some of those numbers are still really, really necessary.
They are. And look, I think it's something we should at least have a healthy discussion, debate about. And then if people just like, no, I don't want to know anything about that. Okay, then we'll continue to go and try and find other ways to fix the problem.
Why are there other ways? This is one of the things we're talking about going in, is like, you have to diagnose a problem to solve a problem. Are there multiple solutions?
Well, I guess what you do is you can create different tracks. So maybe not everybody wants to be, again, if you don't want to see the transparency, if you don't want to see on your bill how we'll have conversations, and that's something we need to do away with, we will. But again, I think transparency is important. There's a lot of fingers in the pot of insurance. And I think that we need to see who are all those people reaching into that pocket, pulling dollars out of it. And again, transparency is the best way to do it.
Now, this is also, there's the second part of this is that, you're primarily talking about auto.
Well, auto, homeowners, workers' compensation. This impacts, most people personalize insurance, to themselves. How does it impact their budget or their family's budget? But again, a lot of businesses out there, all businesses have to have some form of insurance, health insurance.
Yeah.
Like I said, workers' compensation. There's a lot of expense associated with it. So if we want to continue to make Louisiana the best insurance market we possibly can, we can't just pick auto or property or something. We need to look at it holistically.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is like, primarily when we think about it, auto is front and center, because when you talk about it, whether you're talking about like making a medical claim after an accident or body shop claim, whatever, like we see that the most visibly. When it comes to our health insurance, it's just kind of there, but all those same factors are in it.
But there are things that we can do, that the state collectively can do, to help improve the health insurance market, and we probably need to take a different segment and talk on that one day. Because that is, it's interesting. I do radio shows and talks across the state, but when I do the radio programs in North Louisiana, they want to talk about auto.
Yeah,
just auto, not homeowners.
No,
South Louisiana, it's homeowners first, and auto is secondary. And so there's different cost drivers there. Yeah. But I can tell you, Brian, and I think I've said it on your show before, that right now we're in a market where 46 private passenger auto companies have taken rate decrease.
Yes.
That equals that's almost $400 million that we're not paying to insurance companies. That's 400. We're talking about your budget, right? And that's
Right.
$400 million that Louisiana citizens, because this is private passenger auto, not commercial, $400 million that families are able to spend somewhere else, whether it's food, whether it's groceries or gas or education or vacation, whatever, wherever. That's $400 million that's being infused back into the Louisiana state economy.
Right.
That's part of the benefit of fixing our system and getting it right. That's $400 million. I mean, that's huge. If someone just came in and said, "Hey, here's $400 million in your state economy," that'd be a headline.
Not asking for a promise here, but just you said in the last segment, when you make the changes on the auto insurance front, 24 to 36 months before you start to see change, is that $400 million from something done 24 to 36 months ago, or is that an early jump by the auto insurance providers that says we want to get in this game based off of the good faith that y'all have already shown?
No, we haven't seen that yet, actually. Okay. And I want to caution and set realistic expectations. Sure. And sometimes people say you shouldn't do that in politics, but I think that's the best path. The 400, the reduction we've seen because there are fewer accidents occurring. And the auto, the insurance industry is attributing that to the fact that we have safer cars on the road, more vehicles. You think about every time you buy a car now, almost every vehicle has the built-in collision avoidance systems on a bumper, front and back. You don't run into you're alerted now if you're coming up fast on a car from behind.
Right.
If you're backing into something, you're alerted. We're having fewer accidents. That's not just Louisiana. That's a nationwide trend. Mm-hmm. Fewer accidents, and we've talked about this in our state. When we do get in an accident, we file bodily injury twice the national average, and we litigate 3 times. If we don't have the accident, not having that accident has an outsized impact in our state because of that multiplier.
Oh wow, light bulb.
So, but this is a national.
I get it now. Yeah,
but this is a national trend. There are fewer auto accidents occurring across the country. Louisiana's benefiting greater because of that,
because of the bloat that would be on the end if there were more accidents.
So the reform that we've done and the legislature done, and the bills that the governor has signed, those we haven't even started to see the impact on that.
Okay,
and that's what I'm saying. Those things typically take 24, 36 months.
Yeah,
I think we can continue to expect good things in the private passenger auto. Hopefully, some of that will bleed into the commercial. I think the modified comparative fault that Emily Chenevert passed.
Oh yeah,
I think that can have a very huge impact on the commercial, not only on the private passenger, but also on the commercial. But we haven't started to see that yet because it takes time for the accident to occur. It go through the process. Were you 51% at fault or not, and then for all of that to work through the system. But I do expect good things.
The more I learned about modified comparative fault, the angrier I got. If an accident is 95% your fault, you could still before you could still
recover.
So dumb.
Well, we now join 37 other states now.
Yeah.
So
which when more than half the nation is doing something, they're probably moving in the right direction. But when the light bulb went off, you were talking about let's say an accident. I'm just going to use stupid rounded numbers, right? If an accident were to cost the insurance company $10,000 in Alabama, but cost $30,000 in Louisiana. Fewer accidents means they're saving $30,000. That's borderline girl math.
Yeah,
that's like I bought it because it was on sale.
Yeah, it does. It's going to have a bigger impact in our state.
That's
and again,
so good though.
And it's attributed to fewer accidents happening because of technology.
Right.
We just saw. I don't want to use insurance company names, but we just saw a big national insurance company returned $136 million to Louisiana policyholders. That doesn't include that $400 million I just mentioned. That doesn't include the $136 million
really
that this company refunded on their auto policies as a dividend.
Yeah,
that was part of $4 billion that they refunded nationally because they are having fewer accidents nationally.
Okay.
Louisiana impacted too. So again, you don't have the accident, you don't have all the other expense associated with it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're also trying to lower the claims cost when the accident occurs.
Sure.
I want people to get what they are owed.
Right.
If your car has been damaged, you need to get it repaired. If you had a injury, you need to have that taken care of.
Out of work,
all that stuff. But when you're pursuing jackpots, not justice, that's the issue.
And that's that's my soapbox right there. Because that's not a law, that's a mentality.
It is. And it's been normalized
right
in our state,
right, and not just in our state. It
is expanding.
Yeah.
But Louisiana, I do think we're pretty unique in our ability to monetize that.
Yeah, we've done a good job of embedding it for sure. So that's somehow harder than just passing legislation, though.
It is,
and it's just and we gotta that makes your job a little more difficult.
Well, I didn't sign up for the easy job.
Well, that's true as well. What's on tap for today?
Look, we've got an entire, there are breakout sessions talking reinsurance, insurance fraud, actuarial, how all that works. We're doing a commissioners panel today. Like I said, I've got those 5 commissioners, so we'll do a panel. I think it starts at 11:30. We have a guest speaker this afternoon. He's a pilot for the Hurricane Hunter Squadron based in Biloxi.
No kidding.
He's flown Katrina, every hurricane since Katrina. And he is a New Orleans native. His name's Lieutenant Colonel Sean Cross. Grew up in New Orleans. He's been in the Air Force his entire career. And he lives in Biloxi. And he gives this talk around the country. This is his first time he's ever been invited to Louisiana to give his presentation on being a Hurricane Hunter pilot. So we're really proud. He's excited to come back to his home state and give his presentation. So I think that's at 1:00.
Okay.
And anyway, so it's a busy day. And I think, do you have any of my commissioners coming on?
Mark Fowler's up next.
Mark, Alabama, great.
Yeah.
Fortified
roofs.
Fortified roof.
Yep. Look, I listen when you're on the show, and I know we mirrored a lot of what Alabama did. So I know where I'm going.
He's the godfather of the fortified roof program.
Okay,
so,
I'm gonna call him that.
That's what you need
godfather.
to. Yep. But no, well, that's good. So, but no, it's like I said, we have 530 attendees, and I think it's highlighting the fact that Louisiana, we're putting our name and our state on the map for insurance reform. Companies, we've got a lot of companies from around the country here. Like so, we had some reinsurers here, reinsurance brokers. There's a wide variety of insurance professionals here.
The foot on the gas part of this is another part, and when you see 530 people show up under one roof, that. And I ask you about the fatigue of it, right? Because you're session after session, it's like, oh, this guy again. Like session after session, you're hitting up legislators along the way. But when you put numbers behind that, with the number of people in our that are all on board, that's got to help.
Look, it's an important topic. I was just, and I know you're headed over Lake Charles later today to go to the legislator, all the events over there. I was there yesterday speaking to, I was at the Lobby C100 event, and then spoke to the Louisiana Forestry Association, and on the legislator panel. They're telling you, when you go knock on a door, the 3 most important topics are insurance, insurance, and insurance.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of work to do collectively as a state.
Well, I'm gonna let you get back to it then.
All right.
He's Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple.
I appreciate it. Thank you again for being here.
No, greatly appreciate the
You're going to hit the road too. So.
Oh yeah, no. As soon as this one's over, it's stop for Red Bull and then drive to Lake Charles.
Oh, and stop and pick up some boudin and crackling too.
Oh wait, no. We will stop at Scott on the way back home.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a given right there. Greatly appreciate you hopping on board for a little bit. Thank you again for the invite.
Thanks, Brian, as always.
Absolutely. For 115 years, ExxonMobil has been in our backyard. ExxonMobil has been hiring our neighbors. ExxonMobil has been fueling the world, and they want to keep that rolling for the next 115. How do you do that? Well, in ExxonMobil's case, it's going to involve carbon capture and storage. So working with local leaders and stakeholders, landowners, and first responders, ExxonMobil has set the standard when prioritizing safety and when prioritizing being a part of a community. As you move forward in that worldwide energy economy, carbon capture and storage is going to be part of this. They have built out a website just for that. AboutLACCS.com is the website. AboutLACCS.com. Got any questions? Need any information about LACCS.com? If you want to learn more about LACCS.com, ExxonMobil, like I said, been around for 115 years, and they're looking forward to the next 115 with us. Learn more about LACCS.com. ABC News coming your way. We'll talk with Mark Fowler next. Morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple's with me. Morning with Brian Haldane, rolling right along, broadcast live from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual.
The online portal, which launched in 2025, allows the public to see how schools spend their state dollars. That economy is really quite high. Money says $248,000 spent on staff retreats, $216,000 in spending at bars, liquor stores, and restaurants, $13,000 on the list. He says it's financial payment for Jeff schools to use their taxpayer dollars more wisely, no matter how much money they think put in our school systems with no teachers to pay. I'm Jeff Warren. Doctors are sounding the alarm over a proposed massive funding cut that would slash $5 billion in funding for the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Chancellor Donald with the Tulane University School of Medicine says if it happens, it would greatly slow down the progress of fighting cures for life-threatening diseases like cancer. SpaceX plan to build a multi-billion-dollar spaceport on one of the 30 acres of coastal marshland near Pecan Island in Vermilion Parish.
But I do expect good things. The more I'm part of a community, as you move forward in that 115, how do you do that? Well, ExxonMobil has been in our 115 years. ExxonMobil, there. Really appreciate your help on more for a little bit. Thank you again for the thanks, Brian, as always.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center.
Oh, we aren't seeing any more backups on the I-110. It did get a little heavy for a few minutes with what appeared to be a snowboard and dirt. Southbound lanes of Hollywood by traffic has returned normal speeds there, so it doesn't appear to be a problem any longer. I-12 still pretty heavy, but a shorter line now beginning inside of Cuba does run tight across the Asian River Bridge. I'm over an hour.
This week, sponsored by ExpressPros.com. If you work in logistics, now nothing moves without you. Companies need skilled people now, and Express Employment Professionals can help you find a contract for full-time work that fits at no cost to you. Visit ExpressPros.com. Get support, get options, and get to work.
This report comes to you from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. Closing on a home, Mid-City Title makes it super simple. Local closings, expert service, MidCityTitle.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. Well, now you can eat them fat.
Well, let me go ahead and turn mics up now. Are you on 2 or 3?
I'm on. I can hear you.
All right, you're good.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
We're golden.
I hear me too.
So we're I got to knock out a live read real quick.
Yeah.
And then we're off and running.
Do what you need to do. I used to be a DJ, so I'm fine.
Oh,
whatever you need to
what
do.
format?
Gospel music.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And bluegrass before that. How about that?
Yeah. That's sellable.
It is, man. People love that stuff. and Southern.
Where at with the gospel music?
The gospel station was WMGY in Montgomery.
Okay.
And we were at we simulcast on AM and FM, and we also streamed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I had, it was a great experience. I had probably dozens of listeners.
Oh yeah.
And I can guarantee I had more streaming listeners than I had folks in Montgomery.
So this is recent.
Yeah, it was just a few years ago.
Okay.
It was just something I was doing for fun on the weekend. And I didn't make enough money to buy the groceries with it. But
Right.
But I was asked to do it because I played banjo and guitar in a gospel band. And so I knew the radio owner, and he said, "I want to have a live show. Would you do it? You got a radio background?" Because I had been a DJ while I was in college, like a million years ago at Auburn. And so he said, "You've already, you've been in a control room. You know what to do." And I said, what makes you think I know anything about gospel music? He said, you play a gospel band, it's better than any of us.
836, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. 2 segments to go here from the Louisiana Department of Insurance's annual conference. We're going to dive back into our guest list in just a quick second. We got Commissioner Mark Fowler. He's Alabama's insurance commissioner. He's coming up in just a quick second. Do want to remind you about One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com. If you take a look around your bathroom, are you just genuinely happy with it? I mean, how old is your house? How long ago was your bathroom built? Is your bathtub yucky? Is it time to, do you even take a bath or do you shower? Wouldn't you rather a nice walk-in shower with the glass door and the state-of-the-art shower within it? And this is what Christy and I did in our master bathroom last year. We decided we're going to give each other a master bath for Christmas. And I got to tell you, it's unbelievable. So much so that every time I leave the house now, and when I would take the show on the road, if we're going anywhere, that's the first thing I notice. You check into a hotel, this shower's awful compared to what David Duvall did in our shower at onebathandclosets.com. O-N-E, spell it out, onebathandclosets.com, or give them a call at 400-8005, 400-8005 for One Bath and Closets. Okay, so now we turned, I was told I have to do this. We turned to the Godfather of fortified roofs, the Godfather of fortified roofs, Alabama's insurance commissioner, Mark Fowler. Godfather, how are you?
I smell Tim Temple somewhere putting you up there.
Oh,
right?
when he said kiss the ring, he said call you Godfather.
No.
He said be my friend. So
it's great.
Yeah, no, well, you are though. You're the Godfather of Fortified Roof Program. We modeled what we're doing here off of what you did over there, and it's working.
Well, I got to tell you, Brian, thanks for having me to start with. I'm glad to be here at LDI at the LDI conference with Commissioner Temple and several other outstanding commissioners. Commissioner Temple is a guy we all look up to and respect a great deal, and he's one of the best commissioners in the country. You couldn't have a better guy. To be
we don't feed his ego.
I hope he's listening right now. And so, we are so proud of the way that Louisiana has taken this program and run with it. They've had great success already with it, and they are catching up. I think they're the fastest growing state right now in the country with regard to fortified roofs. And they're coming up on Alabama very fast. We just crossed over the 60,000 mark in our state with fortified designations, and we just crossed over a great threshold, $100 million in grants.
Wow.
In our state. Wow. And so we're at about 11,000 of those 60 is homes from the fortified grant program that we have. And if you don't think it works, I would encourage anybody to go to our website at the department website at aldoi.gov and take a look at the report that we did, the study after Hurricane Sally. In 2020, Hurricane Sally came over Gulf Shores, Alabama, and hit as a strong Cat 2 hurricane, moving 5 miles an hour.
Oh, golly.
And so it rained. It sat over the Baldwin County and Mobile for our 2 coastal counties. And there was a lot of damage. And Governor Ivey went down and looked at the damage, and she contacted us and said, we got to make sure the fortified program is really working and running, because what she saw is what we all knew from laboratory research that would actually happen. There was a lot of blue tarps everywhere, but there was a lot of houses without blue tarps, black roofs and blue tarps. And it got to be, we found that so many of those homes that didn't have damage were fortified homes, many of them from the Strengthen Alabama Homes grant. The joke was told, how do you tell which homes are fortified and which are not? We said, we color-coded them for you. The non-fortified homes are blue.
Oh, that's brutal.
The non-fortified homes are blue.
That's cold-blooded.
And the fortified homes do not have any damage. What we found in the study we did after Hurricane Sally is that if you had a claim on your fortified roof, it was more likely because a tree fell on your house than the wind blew the shingles off.
Yeah.
And we have empirical data now that shows that fortified works. Significantly reduction in claims. We have reduction in premiums when you have, and I think Tim is in the Louisiana Department of Insurance is seeing that here in Louisiana. You have a reduction in premiums. In Alabama, we require insurance companies to give a fortified discount on the wind portion of your premium.
Really?
That's a requirement.
Okay.
And it can be very significant depending on how much you fortified, whether it's roof or all the way to fortified gold, which is a new build. And so most of the new builds in Baldwin County are fortified.
You say most of. Has there been a want to make it standard?
It has, and we would
tough nut
love
to crack.
It's a tough nut to crack. That's a local government thing.
It's
Local. That's local
All
building
right.
codes, and so because fortified has become such the standard in our two coastal counties in Baldwin and Mobile, much of those counties have the fortified
Okay.
standard as the building code. But we spent a long time. This was not easy, and it took forever to actually get it done. I mean, we started this process after Hurricanes Ivan and Katrina.
Right.
And you could tell we didn't pass we knew what we wanted to do by 2010, 5 years later. And we finally passed the Strengthen Alabama Homes Act in 2012.
Okay.
So you tell we were doing it in a very slow, methodical way because it was something nobody had done before. And we had a lot of wagons to get pulling in the same direction.
Sure.
And that was tough. And so around that same time, some of the major builders and the local governments in Baldwin County got on board and started fortifying homes.
Mm-hmm.
We passed the Strengthen Alabama Homes Act in 2012, but we didn't make our first grant until 2016. It took that long to actually get the program together because it was brand new.
Well, yeah, it's brand new, and it doesn't. You can't know the benefits until you see the benefits.
Right.
So you get a chicken and egg situation.
It seemed to be common sense.
Right.
But we still had to make sure that the science worked out that
right.
way. Thank God for IBHS, the Insurance Institute for Business and Safety, and Business Home Safety, and the research folks in South Carolina. They're my predecessor, Jim Ridling, who really is the godfather of all of this. I'm just drafting after my predecessor.
So your godfather too.
That's right. And so, I don't know. I just said that's right. I don't think that's right.
No, it's because it would be reversed in order. You would be the Pacino, and he'd be the De Niro.
Yeah, I got to tell you, he really was, because this was one of the things he really sort of had his dream that this was going to happen in our state, and it took a long time and a lot of people and a lot of different organizations from academia, business, and government, nonprofits, and all they took to get pulling the wagon the right way. And it was a major effort. But once we got on track, we got it done. We took a little time to get the pieces of the program put together. We met our first grant in 2016. We do it all from fees that the industry pays the department. We just simply move a sum of money over into that program. We don't use general fund money at all. We don't.
Okay.
We haven't gotten money from outside sources either. We might do that one day just so we can accelerate the program a little more. But right now, all we've done is insurance fees.
Just trying to do side-by-side comparisons. Louisiana has a lot more coastline itself than Alabama does. But when you got Mobile Bay, you're opening yourself up to so much more. I mean, anybody in South Louisiana knows that a hurricane hits Lake Pontchartrain as hard as it hits the Gulf of America. So you can get hit on New Orleans' North Shore pretty good. Same thing with Mobile Bay. You get a little further inland, you're inland but over water at the same time.
Well, nobody understands the devastation of hurricanes better than people in Louisiana.
Right.
They understand it in a big fat way, and that's just the way it is. So it's amazing. And Jim Donlin, Tim's predecessor, saw the benefit and saw what was happening in Alabama, and moved this program in Louisiana. And Tim has taken the baton and just sprinted with it.
Oh no, he's been awesome.
It is unreal what they've been able to accomplish. What Commissioner Temple's been able to accomplish in Louisiana. So we're all looking at them. There's 20 states out there looking to that are either in the development stages or in the implementation stages out there in adapting the Strengthen Alabama Homes program to their own state. Nobody's doing it better and faster right now than Louisiana.
Greatly appreciate it. It's good to know. See, it's always nice to hear from somebody outside the state to know a little bit more about what we're doing, because we can pat each other on the back all day long and still complain at the same time. But I want to get back to how you start off a coastline, right? And you got Mobile Bay, and then beyond that, how do you map out where it's important and how far it needs to go?
Well, that's a really good question. I was asked one time at an NAIC meeting, how did you determine where to start? And I said, we went to where the wind blows.
Oh, but that's the question, though, because we don't have to go back. In fact, there was a reference to it earlier in the show. You don't have to go that far back in history to see wind blowing in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
And a lot of people lost homes, lost lives, lost livelihoods. Like it just so that how do you make that determination of is there a line of demarcation?
Well, we knew after the hurricanes and Katrina and Ivan that we needed to really start on the coast.
Sure,
that's where the wind.
given.
That's where the wind blows the hardest, and that's where you look at the wind portion of a consumer's premium, and it's greater at the coast than it is anywhere else. As you go north in Alabama, that wind portion of your premium gets smaller and smaller and smaller, even though, Tornado Alley is through the north central part of our state. We all know what happened in 2011 with the terrible tornadoes. Tuscaloosa was just one of many cities that was devastated by the tornadoes. And this will work in the tornado areas as well. Now, nothing's going to save your home if you get a direct hit.
No, of course not. But
you still can survive a close tornado.
So let me rephrase the question: is how do you map it out? Because it is a hurricane is more predictable than a tornado, and so it's I feel like it's kind of an unfortunate lottery on the tornado end. So premium wise, further south, but once you start getting north, is it a flip of a coin? Where do you cut off the program? Where do you scale back the program? That sort of thing.
Well, if we had enough money to go statewide right now, we would do it.
Right.
But we don't have enough money to do that. We're in 45 counties in Alabama.
Out
of 67.
Okay.
But we're only generally making grants in 5, and 3 of those are coastal counties, and the other 2 are more in the northern Alabama. I think Tuscaloosa County is one of them.
See, this is exactly the question I'm asking.
That's right.
That's right.
So we're looking at the data to find out where the most high-risk areas are in our state for wind. This is all about a windstorm.
Yes.
So where are the high-risk areas, and what does the data tell us about where the high-risk areas? And that's where we're going. One of the great things about having so many states copying the program is that those states are improving it. They're innovating and improving. And so as we see them doing that, we're sort of copying some of them.
Right.
And I can tell you, one of those is in Oklahoma, where Commissioner Mulready has started the Strengthen Oklahoma Homes program.
Okay.
Very unique in the title.
Yeah,
very original. That's right.
I mean, our tagline is Oklahoma's okay. I'm not looking for creativity.
No, that's right. And Commissioner Mulready, we were the first to tell you that they used the R&D method, rob and duplicate. and so they duplicated the program, but they made it even better and did some innovative things, as they're doing here in Louisiana. And so we're adapting some of those in Alabama. In Oklahoma, we've been going county by county. In Oklahoma, they're drilling down and looking at the zip code level in a much more granular way.
Okay.
And targeting their program to those high-risk zip codes. So we're adapting that in Alabama. We're starting to do that in Alabama now. Look at the actual zip codes in the most high-risk areas.
Yeah.
And targeting those areas. We just don't have enough money to go as far as we want with it. So all those other counties that we've been in, they've been special projects. I mean, we work with Habitat for Humanity quite a bit in our program, partner with them. And so most of those have been projects where we partner with local governments or Habitat or some others to do fortified roost programs in a very small and targeted way.
We've got 30 seconds left. I can't get into anything else. It's just, and I got more too.
Should I say Go Tigers while I'm here?
You absolutely should say Go Tigers.
Can I also say War Eagle?
I'll allow it.
Okay, Go Tigers. War Eagle and Go Tigers.
Yeah, we got you. Mark Fowler, greatly appreciate a couple minutes.
Hey, Brian, my pleasure.
I'm forever in your debt. 850 Talk 107.3 FM. Coming up on Your Money Now. We're not done just yet. We are going to close that out next. Get back to some news on the back end. We don't have enough time for another full interview. Don't forget, we're packing up as soon as we're done, and we're heading to Lake Charles. Legislator is on the horizon. Right now, here's Your Money Now.
And he goes, Red Bull.
Whoever he was interviewed, that guy, my kind of sense of humor. We're
I
talking
know.
about stealing people, R&D.
Yep.
Rob and duplicate. It's like, I'm stealing that.
Right. Sorry, I'm freezing. That's why it's like suffocating in here. I know. You're probably hot as hell.
It ain't my office, so that's fine.
All right.
As long as you don't burn me out of my office.
I know. Well, Scotty Matt the other day, he was like, you have been gone by that point. I was still there around 3 o'clock. He comes to my office. He goes, I'm freezing. Are you freezing? I said, I'm always cold, Scotty. And he looks and he goes, Pauline here. He goes, I said, but remember, fix it before you leave.
That's fine. That's all I ask. Yeah, I'm trying to make a joke about TV screens. It's like, what are we being sponsored by birds in here or something?
Yeah, right. Well, it was a picture of like somebody's Coliseum, and I'm like, I'd rather birds.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, what is going on with this thing?
Our big stores are spending millions lobbying VC politicians on one-sided policies that send small businesses tumbling. They want to enact harmful credit card companies that take resources away from your local credit union and community bank, leaving Main Street businesses with less access to credit, making it harder for your family to pay for everyday goods like gas and groceries. Tell Congress to guard your card and oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card mandates.
In a rural school system, it's difficult to attract and retain quality teachers. That's Shelton, Richland Parish School Superintendent. Meta's investment generated up to $50,000 bonuses for his teachers this year. To hear our teachers talk about their ability to pay off
We're
their
going
house
back.
loans, to buy new cars.
My bonus was $1.
Now we can do a better job taking care of all. The future is for everyone. Learn more at meta.com/GoToLouisiana.
When life gets tough, 988 can provide help and hope. Reach out to Louisiana's free helpline anytime you need emergency and multiple support. Whether you had a tough day, have thoughts of suicide, or just need someone to talk to, 988 specialists will listen and help you work through whatever you're dealing with. Call or text 988 or chat online at Louisiana988.org. It's free, confidential, and here for you 24/7.
If you love LSU, don't settle for headlines everyone else already has. At TigerRag.com and in Tiger Rag Magazine, you'll find breaking news, exclusive interviews, recruiting, game analysis, and the investigative reporting that's making headlines across Louisiana. Recently named Louisiana's first place breaking news winner by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association, Tiger Rag delivers independent journalism covering the business, the politics, and the games of LSU athletics. Visit TigerRag.com every day. Tiger Rag, independent, fearless, LSU.
Now, a check on your drive from the Talk 1073 Traffic Center.
Well, it's pretty clear that things are finally beginning to wind down this morning. If you're coming into Baton Rouge on eastbound I-10, there's still some backups around the top of the bridge down past the 110, but better when you get past that. On the westbound side of I-10, you'll break from the area of the 1012 on up towards the Canyon, and on the I-12 side, there are a few areas of moderate slowing remaining, but things do seem to be winding down there.
This report is sponsored by OE. At some point, body pain may creep in and become your reality that day. But OE is here to keep you moving. One pill takes you to 12 hours of vital care.
How we looking?
We are in traffic close.
Oh, okay. All right. It's going to take so much Red Bull. I just like a Charlie Sheen amount.
Oh my God.
Oh my word. 8:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. One segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Haldane. One segment to go before I can call the halfway point on this roadie. Well, yeah, it's 3 shows down, 2 to go. So we're past the halfway point on this roadie. Been an unbelievable ride thus far. New Orleans always delivers. Built to host is a tagline for the city, and they live it. It's not a sales pitch. It is a mantra. And like over at the JW Marriott, now over here at the Hilton, just knocking it out the park on both fronts. Big shout out once again yesterday for the Louisiana Travel Association. I adore that show. And if you were paying attention yesterday, you absolutely know why. Just the conversations being had about what's going on around Louisiana. And when you step outside of the studio, when we leave the friendly confines of the 180 Pros studio and get to learn a little bit more about what's going on around the state, there's some good stories to tell. And the same thing is here. So a big shout out to Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple for bringing me out today to learn what's going on inside the business. If you weren't up at 6:30, if you weren't listening at 6:30, I highly recommend you go back and you check out my conversation with Mike Berto. Mike Berto from Louisiana Blue was nothing short of phenomenal. That conversation could have lasted the full 3 hours of the entire show. We could have kicked Tim Temple to the curb for that conversation. He was flawless. That was great radio. It'll be available on demand, courtesy of Lake Urgent Care, over at talk1073.com after the show is over with today. So anyway, big thanks to everybody who's got us out on the road. Now, here comes the fun part, okay? This evening and tomorrow, we'll be broadcasting live from the Low Bears Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana, for Legislator. Legislator is now a 3-day policy conference put on by the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, put on by Leaders for a Better Louisiana, formerly C100. We're going to be taking a deep dive into where is the legislature headed next year. Oh, Brian, it's way too early to even tell. No, it's not. Because when this past session ended and you had 2,500 different items that were considered in some form or fashion, a lot got left on the cutting room floor. What is important to pick up on? What have we learned from June till now in order to pick up the baton and run with it for the next legislative session? This is a jump start on 27, and I'm fired up about it. We are going to be broadcasting live from 4 to 6 this evening, and then my show tomorrow morning. And then, we'll have plenty of postmortem after that. In the next week or two, as we'll visit with Lobby, we'll visit with Adam Knapp and the rest from Leaders for a Better Louisiana. I'm super duper looking forward to where this kind of content is headed. So thank you all for coming along for the ride. Now, that being said, because we're on the road tomorrow broadcasting from Lake Charles, we will not have Foodie Friday. But I do need to remind you every single week. We're carrying Foodie Friday on into football season a little bit because tailgating is grilling, baby. But Foodie Friday all summer long, brought to you by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, their website, beefitswhatsfordinner.com. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com. You've got protein, you've got iron, you've got 10 vitamins and nutrients. Beef is fuel for your body at all stages of life. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com, bringing you Foodie Friday almost every Friday, unless I'm on the road. I tell you, I'll be having a little bit of beef for lunch tomorrow because I know the legislator menu. Beefitswhatsfordinner.com. All right, we're just about out of here. Moon's coming up next. As I learned this morning, Moon was actually in this chair that I'm in right now. He was in this chair yesterday. So I'm sure he'll have plenty of breakdown in the aftermath of what he learned yesterday, what got done on the Moon Griffon show, and he'll be coming your way. As far as us, look, it's westbound and down right now, but so much to unpack from what happened today. So if you missed any of it at all, check it out at talk1073.com. After the show is over with, and we'll be back at it 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's going to do it for us. We are all done in New Orleans, and thanks again to Jim Donnellan and his crew for having me out, and we'll see y'all this evening and tomorrow morning. Later.